Gentlemen, we are live for the first time on YouTube. We've done it. We're here.
Whoop whoop.
Hello, Mom. You know, Dad, you said I wouldn't make it, but here we are. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Oh, I was about to say we're live on TikTok, but no. Episode 3. I gotta tell it that we're chatting interview.
If I were to share,
What's up?
if I were to share my screen, would they be able to see it?
I don't know. I'm just streaming this image of Discord. You can try to stream your image.
So you could watch it if I streamed on Discord.
Depends on what you're about to stream. Because I don't know. YouTube's very particular about that kind of stuff.
Only G-rate. Well, I gotta go check.
Just tell me what you're going to stream.
I want to show Brandon those two pictures and make him find the difference between them.
Is it the one that you,
Okay.
is it what you put in the hell chat?
What's
Yes.
that?
Is it what you put in the hell chat?
Yep.
Yeah.
This
No
man
differences.
This man is still stuck on this. I'm blown away.
The one thing that hurts the most is the
Yeah,
new
it's that
Honda
poison fish.
Accords.
Yeah.
New
The
Honda.
front ends
Oh.
look so much like the Dark Horse front end. The new Honda Accords.
That's hilarious. Oh, there it is. Hey, okay, we got YouTube chat pulled up. Oh, there's some loser in here named Fast is Fun, and he said lame. What's up,
he's on
Alex and
YouTube?
Travis? Yeah, I'm going to warn you guys. I'm going to have to start interrupting us more when we actually get chats, by the way. So forgive me if I interrupt you. Anyway, so what have you guys been up to? Racing-wise. I mean, that's really what we're here for, right? The racing content. We got Ryan on the motorcycles. We got me in the Miata. We got Brandon in the S550. So, Ryan, I'm going to out you a little bit. Okay? I'm opening that closet door on you.
All right.
You said that you could be convinced to take the Miata that is currently for sale onto a track.
Yes.
Okay. I just got word.
Only because I'm not really finding a buyer for it for the price that I want to sell it for.
Well, everybody knows the best thing to do when you can't sell a vehicle is to just start
double
tracking.
down and
That's the only correct answer there. So Brandon, he and I were having this talk last night. You're already aware I've bought brake pads for the Miata. I was going to record a video on that yesterday, but I was on dad duty and Eli would not let me record that video, so we didn't get to upload it. But I did buy some Power Stop track day brake pads. I was reading some reviews. They look pretty good. They just don't last very long, but it's fine because the reviews I was reading was like 3,300 and 3,500 pound cars, not 2,300 pound cars. So I'm really trying to sign up for my first track day. I'm considering an event on the 17th in Gingerman. However, I don't know. My wife has just accepted a new position full time from working 2 days a week. And with a 5-month-old, almost 6-month-old, things are a little up in the air. So I'm kind of waiting until the end of this week to see how things go. But yeah. So I'm trying to get on track and I'm trying to convince the old Risky Osceoles to join us.
I'm kind of shocked at how expensive car track days are.
I want to make sure one thing's clear. He's talking about a $170 track day. It's a $150 track day if you're an SCCA member, which anybody who does like car track days is laughing at you right now. They're laughing. Haha, that's them laughing. Because $150 is dirt cheap. That's why I'm driving 4 hours to do this. Because I can drive 4 hours away and rent
What's the cheapest track day at Putnam?
For a 1-day session, I think it was $400 by the time everything's said and done. Yes. It was at least $350, if I remember correct. It was somewhere in the neighborhood.
For one day.
For one day. For one day.
Wow.
So if you guys don't know, we're in the Indianapolis area. So the Putnam Road course is closest to us. It's only an hour away, and an hour. I would be down to just throw my track pads on, drive the Miata there, pack up my cooler, just like I do for an autocross day. And if I broke something, well, I know my insurance agent. She's my aunt, so I can get a free tow home. I got the hookup, so I don't really need to trailer the Miata out there. But for the cost of renting a trailer to tow down with my Nissan Xterra that I've purchased, it is cheaper to buy the Xterra, rent the trailer, and tow down than it is to just go to Putnam. So, yeah, automotive track days are insanely expensive. Ryan, how much is an affordable track day in the motorcycle world?
Oh my God, $375 for one day.
$375? Wow, that's actually
$540 for 2 days.
I was afraid that I was over exaggerating. I'm glad to hear I wasn't.
That's 10/10.
Oh, and keep in mind, the Miata is illegal at 10/10. My Miata. If you got a Miata, it's convertible, illegal. You have to have a roll bar. You have to have an aftermarket roll bar. SCCA will allow documented rollover protection, which the NC Miata has because it's got the roll hoops, but 10/10 won't allow that. So I've got to buy a $700 roll bar to go with it. Now,
Dang.
there's a case to be made. You should probably just have a roll bar to go on the track. We're going to move on from that conversation.
You don't need them.
Right?
Yeah, bike track day. A cheap one at Putnam. $210.
What's it at Gingerman? Because Gingerman seems to be literally half the cost of Putnam for some reason. Even though Putnam isn't special. If I remember correctly, they run a... what's the yearly automotive event? It's like one big party. Fuck. You know what I'm talking about because you've been to one. You went for a ride along with Ryan Turk.
Grid Life.
Grid Life. I'm pretty sure there's a Grid Life event at Gingerman. There's definitely not one at Putnam. I know that for sure.
I went to a Grid Life event at Gingerman.
Oh, so it was a Gingerman.
Yeah.
Now go look up a Gingerman motorcycle event. Have you run Gingerman? You've run NCM and you've run
I
Putnam.
have not run Gingerman, no.
So you're saying that automotive racing is expensive, and you've run the two most expensive tracks on your bike, and you haven't even seen the affordable car track days. My guess is it's going to be like $100 for a bike track day.
For where? Oh, at Gingerman?
Yeah.
It's 100 and... No, it's... $215.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, well, there we go. I guess I have to buy a motorcycle. So what's going to have to happen? Hey, babe, buying a motorcycle. I'm just kidding. I'm buying a motorcycle.
Yeah, the bike track days did get more expensive since I've been last.
Jeez. It's not like
Wow.
car track days have gotten more expensive as well.
And the cars and the bikes have gotten more expensive.
Ridiculous. So going to Brandon, you're talking about running a Cam Challenge, if I remember
Cam
correctly.
Challenge. Yep.
When is Cam Challenge?
Next weekend.
Oh, it's next weekend?
Yep. August 11th, 12th, and 13th.
Dang, that's a full event.
What's Cam Challenge?
It's pretty much just like it's a national event for cam cars. So cam is like your classic American muscle,
Yep.
But it's a national event, so it's it's going to draw it. I think there's a limit of 250 entries.
For those who aren't aware, autocross is different classes. Your car will fall into a class based on what it is and then what modifications it has. Cam is the Wild West. If you buy a bone stock Mustang or Camaro or GTO, it'll fit into a street class barely. And then pretty much if you carve your name into the hood, done. It's now a Cam car. And pretty much to get out of Cam, I don't fully understand what it takes to get out of cam, but I know you can run cam in a boosted Mustang with like full aero in like a half an interior. I think that's the limit, isn't it, Brandon? You have to like
Uh,
gut the interior to get out of cam.
no, you is so
Oh,
the for cam, it literally is weight. So for cam C, I think it's 3,200 pounds or heavier.
Wow.
For cam S, it's 3,000 pounds or heavier.
so
So it's like,
so you could go shed 500 pounds in a fifth gen Camaro and still be in cam, and you could be boosted at
yeah.
3,300 pounds and a fifth gen. You could be on a 315, 335, R888R, 100 tread wear, full aero, and you're in the
Well,
exact same class as some kid who put long tube headers on his Mustang.
How you gonna drop 500 pounds from a fifth gen?
That's my point. If you're going to that extent, you
Get
should
out of the
not.
car.
You should be in a different class.
well, the other thing is too, is you said 100 treadwear. It has to be a minimum of 200. It's the
Oh,
minimum. So anything more,
that's
you
more
get,
reasonable,
but
obviously.
yeah, it's definitely interesting.
I have a bone to pick with some autocross classes. Sorry, my brain's struggling. I like, for instance, my car, my NC Miata. I've got coilovers, 200 tread wears, and a catback, and I'm an STR from like C Street, I think it is. It's irrelevant because I'm not going to run that car on stock suspension. It'd be disgusting. If I do cams, I'm still an STR. I might even be able to. I might even be able to run boost and still be an STR. But as soon as I put a front splitter on it, done. I'm up there with boosted S2000s on 100 tread wears and ridiculous tires, and it's
You
all
go to
game
XA,
over.
don't you?
I go to like XA, yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And the only reason I want a front splitter for a car that's going to run 40 mile an hour is because right now my AC condenser is exposed, and I don't want to buy the plastic like shroud from the factory. I'm like, well, why not just buy a splitter then, right? Nope, I'll be in another class. I'm literally allowed to do cams in a full custom tune, and I'm still able to stay in my same class. But as soon as I throw a splitter on there, game over, done, out, get out of here. We don't want to see you anymore. It's a little
What class would my Miata be in?
STR
As it's
probably.
Uh,
Oh no, he's on a
no,
standalone. I don't know exactly because I don't know where the standalone would put you. But I'm trying to think. Your car just has wheels, tires, suspension, and a standalone, right?
Bigger intercooler,
Eh,
he'd probably be
full,
an
full
STX.
intake,
STX.
full
Probably-
intake system.
He'd probably be STX.
Well, I know there's another Mazda Speed that runs, and it's STR. So STR, for you guys don't know, is Sport Touring Roadster. I think it's Sport
Yeah.
Touring Roadster.
Yeah.
But there's also like Sport Touring Ultimate, or like, and then Sport Touring X, which I think is like experimental. I'm not a class expert here, but like for instance, a 350Z on coilovers is STU, a BMW 3 Series, J's BMW 3 Series on aftermarket suspension, that's STU as well, which is weird. But for those of you guys don't know, there's also a whole like street class, which is like I bought this car at a dealership and I just want to race it. I haven't even touched it. I've like changed the radio stations and that's it. Those would be the street classes. The 6th Gen 1LE is in F Street, and was it the Pontiac? What's the rear engine Pontiac?
Fiero.
Fiero. There was a Pontiac Fiero that was running F Street, and he was running against a brand new off the lot 6th Gen. And if you guys run any autocross, you know the 6th Gens are just F Street's useless. If you don't have a 6th Gen, don't show up. It's not worth it. You're going to get demolished by the 6th Gens. But yeah, autocross classes can be a little obnoxious. So
I think it's more SCCA than anything.
it is, yeah. I think they get too caught up on like what style of car it is. I think they get too caught up in trying to run the Mustangs with the Camaros and the Dodges with the Camaros and the Dodges with the Fords, and Like for instance, the Pontiac Solstice GXP, the turbo, goofy looking Miata made by Pontiac. You would think that would be STR, Sport Touring Roadster. It would run with the Miatas. It would run with like the MR2s, right? Because it's a Roadster. No, it's cam as well. There's a
KMF.
it's Cam C.
I'm pretty sure it's KMS because Dallas's mom runs in KMS with the Corvettes.
Oh my God, Dallas's mom is getting absolutely screwed, and Alice is watching it. Okay, so there's a guy that runs our local region. He's actually pretty common in the SCCA. He had a car all over like that SCCA magazine. His RX-8 that he wrecked, by the way, that was in the magazine. Anyway, his mom
Is that the
runs.
guy with the RX-8 that's like
Yeah, the
just
big,
totally
huge
Yeah.
turbo ethanol LS that makes dumb power. When he comes out, it's like big toe, no gas. Big toe, no gas. That's it. Like there is no partial throttle in that car. But his mom runs a Solstice GXP, full bolt-on, probably a tune because it's clearly running ethanol on some fat tires. And if you guys know anything about the LNF motor that those come in, that car will make 300 wheel horsepower. But she has to run against Corvettes.
Spicy.
She's running against Corvettes. KMS is like Corvettes. There's other cars that probably go in KMS, but I've literally never seen another one in KMS but Corvettes. C5, C6, C7. The C8 is the SS class, the super sport or whatever.
With some mods, I think it might be capable.
What?
The Solstice.
Oh, it's a fast car. I think it would be a fast car.
Yeah.
Um,
Even with Corvettes, because
no, it's not.
how
running
much
against Corvettes.
power? How much power do you actually use from the Corvette on an autocross?
It's not about power. It's about torque. You can watch any of the clips of my Miata running. As soon as I get to a really slow section,
Well, that Solstice would have way more torque than your Miata does.
That's fair. If you guys know about the LNF,
Got a twin scroll turbo.
Yeah, they come factory with a twin scroll, and boy, that thing will
That thing
light.
is stupid. That thing is at full boost at 2,000 RPM.
Oh man, I'm just gonna name this podcast the LNF Lovers Podcast.
No.
I love that motor. But yeah, it'd be a beautiful swap for the Miata. I'm just saying. I don't know though. I mean, you got to remember, like, there's big cam ethanol C5s with aero running in Cam S. I mean, Jay's Z06 with heads and cam. It's an LS7. That's Cam S. That's running with a bone. Well, I don't know where a bone stock C5 Corvette would be, but yeah.
Well, some of them are running. The bone stock ones are running A Street.
There's a street class for bone stock.
Yeah, there was a C5 and a C6 at Xenia. Both of them were running A Street.
Interesting. They weren't rookies, were they?
I don't believe so.
Interesting. I need to start paying more attention. We need to get Jay on the podcast.
Yes.
That would be a really good like practice run for a guest. Actually, I don't know why I hadn't thought about that. Jay's a little quiet though. Jay and Nikhil, we'll get them both on. But the problem is, then I have to admit to them that I post stupid videos on the internet for views.
They don't already see it?
They know. Everybody's seen it. Brandon Prambo, our buddy that went and ran the Nationals event and won, he's followed me. And I posted a video of the exterior, and he's like, "Oh, hey, so you guys went off-roading. When are we going to go?" And I was like, "Oh, you saw that?" Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That actually might be me. Yeah. It's weird. It's kind of like a meme of like people that post videos on TikTok and they're just like, hopefully nobody figures it out. That's the only reason why I haven't made a Facebook Reels. Because Facebook Reels actually do pretty good. I've heard that there's a good amount of views and you can start earning income off your views pretty quickly on that. But I can't risk it. Facebook ties everything in. So eventually it's going to be like, oh, hey, look. Your friend Mitchell, look what else he's posting. And I'm like, oh, dude, don't do that. Don't share that. But, well, I guess it's going to be out there now because, hell, one of my more recent videos, my Engineer Explains, it just passed 1 million views on YouTube, which is a shock because I had 1.5 million on TikTok. But, like, TikTok is
What's
TikTok.
it called?
Engineering Explains. It was episode 27. It was one of my more recent ones. So my YouTube suddenly went from 250 subscribers to now 2.2 thousand. Like,
wow.
within 2 weeks. So it's like, all right, well, I didn't really expect that to happen. It doesn't make any sense because I've had videos do well on Instagram. I've had videos do well on TikTok, but YouTube couldn't care less until this one video got uploaded, and they're like, "Hey, buddy, give us that. I like that. Let me see that." It just doesn't make any sense sometimes. Which one are you watching?
I just the first short I saw your face in it.
Oh. Yeah, it's obnoxious sometimes. But yeah, a little update on. I told you guys I was gonna try to do a video on every grassroots style of racing, and we've come up on 2 events now that were supposed to be recorded. So the first one was the drift event, and I recorded, and I opened up that video. It's garbage. I've got a bunch of B-roll. I've got a bunch of time where I was trying to get B-roll. But then if you actually go back and watch it, there's only like a couple usable clips. Maybe for like a good introduction section. And then there's just 2 like helmet mounted cams of me like riding along and be like, oh, this is fun. And that's it. That's it. I talked to so many people at this event, but I didn't want to shove a camera in their face. Like
Where'd you go?
I went up to Speedrome. And
Okay.
I mean, I talked to some really cool dudes. I mean, one of them was clearly blazing it up. He was blazed out of his mind. Like at the track, he's like, "Oh yeah, dude." They said if I like show up at 8:00 with my car, dude, I could just like run at half price. I was like, "Hell yeah,
Wow.
brother, send it." And he was like, "Dude, you want to go for a ride?" And I was like, "Yes, I do."
No.
He's like, "Yeah, dude, my 488's about to blow up, but like it's cool. We're just gonna send it." And I was like, "Hell yeah, brother, let's do it. Let me get this on video of your 488 blowing
What
up."
car did he have?
He had an SN95 or like one of those
Okay.
New Edge Mustangs, that generation. There's a difference between the New Edge, I guess, and the SN95, but I don't know it. But yeah, I didn't stay long enough for him to get his car out. We were like 30 minutes away, and I was like kind of bored, so I was like, all right, I'm just kind of out. I was having fun, but dude,
How much did that cost?
for me to go and like just watch and get some ride-alongs, $15. That one event was, I want to say it was $90 if you signed up from 2 to 11 o'clock. But listen, if you've got a drift car, $90 is a steal. Dude, these dudes were parking their cars. There was too much run time for their money, Ryan. They were getting in their cars, going up, getting a run in, and they'd come back and be like, "Oh, I gotta let it cool down. Meanwhile, there would just be nobody on track. Okay? You could, listen, if you just didn't give a shit, or if you had the money to buy tires, you could totally hot lap your car. There was nobody stopping you. There was nobody in front of you. Just drive your car up, run it. It looked like they typically had about a minute time. Nobody was really timing them, but it was just kind of like common courtesy was they'd run for about a minute and then they'd come around. And if they want to get back on track, that's fine, but they'd let somebody else go out and then they'd hop back out whenever they were free. But yeah, nobody was stopping you from hot lapping. Like there was zero issues with getting seat time. Absolutely none. It was more of a question of, do you have enough tire for it? But yeah, so I got some video, but not near enough for a full like in-depth, like, hey, I did drifting. This is what you need to know. So I have to take the Miata. That's what's going to have to happen.
I thought you took the Miata out there.
I wanted to, but I decided not to because I didn't know anything about it. But that'll be the next plan. The next plan is to take the Miata to a drift event and say, okay, now I'm doing it. And I've never done it before. So I'm going to show you exactly what I learned my very first time out and how I did this successfully or unsuccessfully. And here's what you need to know so that you can do it. But I'm saying, like, from start to finish, this is how you sign up. This is how you prepare your car. This is what you need to bring. This is what you do at the event. This is how you recover from the event. Oh, no way. We got a guy in here named Mitch, and he says his name's better. I think there's...
His last name.
What is your last name, Mitch? Because if your last name isn't German for mayor, I don't want it.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. No,
now.
I think this might be... There was actually another guy from Indiana, I believe. He was actually an engineer as well. His name was Mitch. And he was commenting all the time. He was supposed to help me with my taillights. But didn't really work out.
There's a place down in Kentucky. Or no, it's Indiana, but it's right outside Louisville. It's called Sportsdrome. That I've heard is pretty popular for drifting.
Drome. No?
Sportsdrome Speedway.
It's not where I went.
And
I went
Clarksville.
to
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying there's another place you could check out.
Yeah. I want to go, though. I want to go to one event. So originally my plan was to just go and ride along at some of these events and record and be like, this is what I learned riding along. But I've learned that I either need to have a driver that's on board with me being there all day with them, or this isn't going to work. Because going and making friends, it's awkward. I've always made videos saying, like, go to an autocross, man. People would love to give you a ride along. But it's so awkward carrying your helmet around, like, hi, can I ride with you? And you don't know if they're taking it seriously. You don't know. Like, some dudes, like, yeah, they don't want a passenger at autocross. And, like, I got to thinking about that. I was like, man, maybe they don't want somebody at this stupid fun event for drifting that's, like, not competitive at all. I mean, everybody that I talked to was like, yeah, man, like, when I get the car out, feel free to come by. But then I'd, like, see them, like, putting their helmet and gear on, and I'd be like, oh, well, they're busy. I don't want to go bug them now. So then they go out and run, and I'd be like, oh, man, I should have went and rode with them. It's hard. It really is.
Yeah, it's definitely beneficial knowing someone there, because if not, there's some of us just can't handle the awkwardness.
Yeah. One of the series that's been repeatedly suggested is the Rallycross, and I'm clearly not going to run the Miata at Rallycross. It was an idea that I threw around because I thought it'd be funny, but I was reading, there's a local group called the HoopDX, and their description says, like, listen, if you come out here, you're gonna break something. And I was, like, reading the description. It was essentially like, you're gonna jump the car. You're gonna put it in a tree. You're gonna flip the car and it's gonna catch on fire. And if you're not okay with that, don't come out. And I was like, I'm not okay with that. I'll ride with somebody else. So I think for something like that, I'm gonna, like, post on the group ahead of time and just say, hey, I'm coming out. I'm gonna have cameras. If you're comfortable with that, I would love to get some ride-alongs. I'm willing to, I don't know, throw some money your way for lunch, or just...
What kind of cars do people drive at those things?
Dude, this HoopDX challenge was just like whatever the hell they had their hands on. I mean, it was like, I'm making up stuff that I don't know the specific examples, but an example that I could think of would probably be like a lifted Crown Vic, a lifted Miata. I mean, it looked like it was just like, you good on Facebook.
Whatever they found cheap.
It was running and driving.
On.
Yeah. Or maybe even not even running and driving. Just almost runs and drives. But yeah, those dudes don't joke around. But I would love to go out there for one of those. I think that's one of those things where, like, you'd go for a ride along and afterwards you're like, I don't want to be in this car again. Thanks, but I'll watch.
What's the name of the group that does that?
HoopDX. HoopDX. Well,
HoopDX.
HOOPTIE.
So hoopty.
HoopDX. Man, that boy's got one of them hoopties. You seen that new car he's got? Brandon, you gotta know what hoopty is. It's like,
I know I've got one.
Oh yeah.
I got a hoopty Miata.
Speaking of which,
Hoopty-yada.
We gotta come back to the S10 here in a minute.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. But yeah, I also missed a drag event they were supposed to run Wild Wednesday last Wednesday, and I did not go. Just had some dad stuff going on. So, but there's one more Wild Wednesday. I'm gonna go run that for sure in the Miata, and I'll probably snap an axle there, so that will be fun. Pray for my factory diff. So
What are
Brand,
people running a stock NC Miata? The drag strip.
so the numbers I'm hearing are high 15s. I haven't found like specifically like, hey guys, I drag raced my Miata, but I ran it through like an ET and a mile an hour estimator for like drag stuff. You know, you punch in the power and the weight. I punched in 140 wheel horsepower, 2380 pounds because that's what my car scaled at, and it was saying high 15s, and I don't even remember the mile an hour, but I think it was like barely over 100. Don't quote me on that.
Wow.
So yeah,
I believe it.
my goal 15s. So, but here's the deal. If I run a 15 in my Miata and I could only run a 13.5 in the Camaro, that's not good. That's not good. I ran a 13.4 in the Camaro with a 260 foot. And that was on, it was the Nitto NT555 G2s. I don't care what people say. The NT555 G2 is junk. That's what the G stands for. Gunk. It's full of
Gunk.
double the gunk. Brandon will contest to it.
Yes. God awful in the rain, god awful in anything below like 60 degrees.
You know what is good? When you do a fat burnout before you go down the quarter mile, and even then, probably better tires. I'd rather just have a good 200 tread wear that you don't have to do a burnout in. So yeah, hey Nitto, we are looking for sponsors. Tires are expensive, and Falcon backed out of Formula Drift, so I'm not supporting Falcon anymore. You know,
I like my Kumos.
this Kumo sound pretty good. I loved your car when I drove them. Who makes the AO52? It's the
Toyo.
Toyo.
Yep.
Those AO52s. That's what I got my eye on. But I got some RT660 sitting in the garage used. That I spent like $100 for, and they've still got a ton of life. So that's probably what I'm mounting next. You know, when I can afford wheels to fit them.
So speaking of tires,
ooh, here we go.
If I keep the Miata, the first thing it's gonna need is tires. Mine are bald.
Brandon, I've got
What
the
am I
answer for
buying?
this. I've got the answer to this, but I want you to go first because I think I'm gonna have a very different answer.
And
I
this
want to
is
hear
probably,
yours.
I think this is very relatable to anyone watching because a lot of people have stock Miatas or Miatas that they bought
Yeah,
with crappy old tires on them,
people
and
that
they
just
want to go racing.
yeah, people that just want to go racing for the first time,
People,
and they
people that
just
want
want
to
to
hit
do
a
it
track
affordably.
day, they want to do a couple autocrosses and feel it out from there. They're not going to the track every weekend, competing. Just
Yeah.
your average dude that goes to 3 track days a year.
And I want to add in, I think a lot of people get caught up in, I need this, that, and this so I can go to 6 million track days. You don't. You just need to go to a track day. Or you need to go to a autocross. But Brandon...
And I would say, well, okay, so first of all, what I would say right off the bat is, if you have a decent set of tires already, like good tread life, they're not dry rotted, decently new set of tires, just take that to an autocross.
Yeah.
Dare I say, take that to a track day. If you've never driven on a track before, those tires are probably gonna have more skill than you.
First of all,
you're not gonna.
I want to say that for a track day, I would be comfortable buying 95% of the cars in America that aren't in the Rust Belt, and then going immediately to an autocross. Like, buy the car that morning and then drive it to an autocross. Autocross is that soft on cars.
Oh yeah.
But for a track day, I want to talk about track day prep here in a minute because I did buy some parts recently. But I want to focus on tires for a minute. Brandon,
Mitchell?
thoughts on tires? As somebody who's new to autocross, you've got, 8 events under your belt?
It's probably closing in on 10 by now.
Yeah, yeah. So I wouldn't call you new anymore. I'd say you're getting there. Because I'm only at 20. But go ahead. What do you
But
think?
so the first event I ever drove on was in your Miata on some junk all seasons.
Yeah, mismatched
Okay,
all
fair enough.
seasons. We had one 600 or one 500 tread wear on one corner, and then 400s on the other three corners.
Yeah, so
That
god awful.
mismatched. Yeah.
That's a recipe for disaster. Yeah.
Anyway,
And
go
then
on.
all the other couple events I did last year were on the Nitto NT555 G2s. Junk. And
Really.
and like now I'm on a Kumo VS 730 200 treadwear. Just night and day. Just the amount of just grip they have.
I
So
have Nitto Neogens on my Miata right now.
You've got bald tires, is what you've got.
They were Nitto Neogens at one point.
Now they're Nitto Street Slicks.
Yeah. For the road, I think they did pretty well. I mean, I haven't taken them to an autocross. Obviously, you'd be driving the car way harder there. But, I mean, we were at the tail of the dragon. Not once did I feel worried.
speaking on the tail of
And
the
in the
dragon,
rain.
Yeah.
I was on the Nitto NT5 G2s and I could not keep up with you guys at all because it pushed so hard with those junk tires.
Well,
Really?
I personally think driving on the street isn't really a matter of the car and the tire. I think it's more of the matter of how dumb the driver is. If you're
Yeah.
dumb enough to push hard on the street, you beat anybody. If you don't care to wrap your car around a tree or take out Susan, who's taking Highway 129 to get from North Carolina to Tennessee to her day job, yeah, you can be fast. So
That's crazy, though, Brandon. Your tires were barely hanging on, going 30 miles an hour.
Yep.
Dude, the NT555 G2s are that junk. I
Really?
believe it. Listen,
Wow.
listen. I had the 555 G2s as well on the Camaro, and on stock power level, I would break the tires loose in second gear. Okay. I then went to a Goodyear Eagle F1 Supercar 3, not the Supercar 3 RS, like the crazy one, but like the 200 treadwear. I went to those in a 285, 305 setup, 285 front, 305 rear, and then I did a cam. So I added power, and all of a sudden that car would dead hook from like mid RPM first gear. I mean, that car would rip on those tires.
So let's go back to the topic, though.
The tires.
What tires am I going to buy?
Okay.
If I were to buy some.
I like Brandon's idea of
More or less, let's start out with what kind of tire, like what category of tire do I really need to be semi-competitive and have fun at a track day or autocross?
I think that's two different arguments, and I think you would
Well-
agree with me there. Autocross,
Sure.
listen, there's no reason why you
You
couldn't
can get away with less at an autocross event.
There's no reason why you couldn't run your car as it sits right now in an autocross. I'll pay for
yeah.
your autocross. You know what? If you want to run a Northwestern Ohio region, I'll pay for your event ticket. I'm dead. This is an actual offer.
Okay.
How far are you from Fort Wayne? Ryan?
2.5 hours.
Oh, that's a little further than.
Yeah, but I know Jay just ran a Noir event, and I don't think it was that far. But you can run your tires as they sit. I'm dead serious, dude. I would have run my old CRV if it was legal. It was just too tall.
I would run it like it is
Yeah.
at an autocross.
There's
but
no reason why you can't run any fucking car at autocross, pretty much. As long as it's like DOT legal.
Okay, so let's say competitive autocross / track
Oh.
day.
Competitive autocross, you got to start with a 200 treadwear. Once you start caring about times, you want a 200 treadwear minimum. Which
Well, and that's go ahead.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, really, I would just get like an ultra summer tire.
Yes.
Something that's going to be.
That's what I was thinking. Top of the range, summer category, low tread wear, sticky, semi-sticky tire. Let's see what they got.
So let me tell you this: if you say, listen, I just need a name, I'm buying it tonight. What is it? I'm gonna say RT660, AO52,
I knew you were gonna say that.
R888, or I'm forgetting one. The V730s are another really good example. The Goodyear Supercar 3s. But Ryan, for your tire size, it's probably the AO52 or the RT660. Because the Supercar 3s are more of a 20-inch tire commonality.
Yeah.
It's really common for the big cars like the Camaros. Brandon's V730s, I didn't know about those, but Brandon's car felt amazing. But I think a lot of that comes from his camber plates.
What are you running now, Brandon? What tires?
The Kumo VS 730s.
And you like those?
I absolutely love them. I've put
Cheap?
they were, I want to say for the set it was like 360 a tire, 370 a tire, I think.
Are you ready for a curveball? I got a better answer
not
than all
complaining.
these. I've got a better answer than all these.
Oh,
Whatever used tire you can find with some tread life. Dude, do you know how many people pull off, especially like right now going cam challenge? Do you know how many dudes are like jerking it tonight, being like, oh, cam challenge next week and I have to have fresh tires. They're pulling off tires right now and they're putting on
they do
brand
that
new ones.
on bike track days too.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
run
Go buy some
takeoffs.
pull-offs. I got 245 RT660 sitting on the other side of that wall right now, waiting for me to buy a 9-inch wheel. I bought them for $100. There's nothing wrong
The
with them.
set.
A set, full set, $100, dude. There's nothing wrong with them. They are not quite down to the wear bars. They've got a season of use on them, but they're going to be 100% fine for what I'm doing, for my skill level. And I guarantee you they'd be fine for your level. I'm sure you're very fast on a bike, but you've never been on four wheels. I think it's going to be a different experience.
Sure.
Oh, hey, I told you I'd pay for your event ticket to go run your Miata. If you want to go run your Miata, that's great. Just come run my Miata. You really don't have anything to worry about.
Bring it to an event up here and I will.
Okay, we'll just
All right,
find
Mitch.
an event up there.
Yeah, we need to find an event in Northwest Ohio.
Okay, sounds good. It'll probably be a month because it sounds like Jay just ran one of their events last weekend. So my guess
Do they have
is,
any events in Canada?
I don't know, but I don't have a passport, so
Me neither.
Oh, you got to get one.
I'm actually a felon. I
I
can't go up
live
there.
20 minutes from
I'm just kidding.
Canada.
I'm not a felon. Yeah, I didn't realize you. Oh yeah, because that dip in the border. Yeah, that's right. Speaking of Canada trips, did anybody else have any other final comments on the tires? If not, I want to change topics here.
Sure, go ahead.
Brandon got some good news. The old heap is not dead.
Oh God, you revived it again?
I literally got in. So it was what, Monday or Tuesday of this week. I literally got in to go drive it, and it drove just fine. No trans issues, no nothing. I don't know what happened. My guess is
Classic gremlin.
what? Yeah, my guess is water in a connector somewhere. But as of right now, I have no idea.
Or it's just typical Jeep things. You know?
Well,
I mean, it is Jeep.
So you
Should
brought
buy-
this up in regarding road trips with what's cooking.
I think he's afraid to say no.
Sounds like what's cooking is your
yeah. What were you thinking, Mitch?
your radiator.
I was trying to talk him into running up there to go visit you and check out the cabin, but Brandon, I think after our conversation, you said you're a little hesitant to start driving the Jeep very far.
Yeah, especially, I mean, if it's gonna start acting up, I'm not trying to drive it, 4
How
hours
much does
anyway.
the Jeep weigh?
That's what I asked.
Well, if you look it up online, it's less than that.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because it's right to the core. Well,
Oh, what, like 3,500 pounds?
Ryan and I
Probably.
just established yesterday that Google's actually pretty accurate. What year is it, Brandon?
96.
96. Jeep.
We could probably
Cherokee.
get away with towing it if it had to be done.
I would. Yes. I was gonna say I would want a trailer break, but I guess if we rent a trailer, and it's one of those fancy U-Haul trailers, I probably don't need to. Bro, the XJ's lighter than the RX-8, and I said I would comfortably tow an RX-8. 2,900, 3,100 pounds. Estimate on the 3,100 pound side with your bog monster tires.
Definitely towable.
Bro, listen, we get down there, we have issues. We'll be screaming in the VQ40 just going down the highway trying to tow 3,000 pounds. Because that's what a VQ40 probably sounds like trying to tow. But
There are some decent trails up there, most of which I have not yet explored, and I would like to. I don't know if Luke's still in, or Hilly Rex is still in the chat, but
why'd you say Luke? Or I mean, Killy Rex. Nobody knows who Killy Rex
I don't know
is.
who's watching.
No, he wasn't in there.
We took the DRZs up there, and you better be ready for some sand, because there's a lot of sand up there.
I guess I don't really think about all this sand.
It's heavily forested, but a lot of the forest floor is largely sand.
Interesting.
Once you get underneath the brush, it's really weird. It's in Manistee National Forest.
Yeah, I would like to come up there in the Xterra here soon, and especially.
And before we go up there, like halfway to the cabin for you guys, is Silver Lake sand dunes, where you can drive your vehicle out on some big ass sand dunes overlooking Lake Michigan.
So Joe's been trying to go down there actually.
Really?
Joe
Let's go, boy.
You know Joe Dorf, right? Do you know his truck? Okay, so Joe Dorf, he's got a C6 Z06 as well, the L7 bad boy. But he's got a 6-liter Silverado 2-door that he just put an air locker in the rear. 4-wheel drive, winch. Yeah, Joe was with us when we did that video that I posted recently where Brandon about rolled his damn Jeep. Him and his brother are just like, they don't give a shit, dude. Like, oh, bro, it's sunk in the mud. It's cool. I got a winch, bro. Oh, it's upside down. Nah, it's cool. I got a winch, dude. Oh, you rolled your XJ?
We should definitely try to go out there.
He's down because he was trying to go on the very next trip, but Brandon Parambo has a 2-wheel drive Dodge that he's trying to just go overlanding in, and I was like, well, let's just stick to Hoosier National for now. But I was gonna say Hoosier National is gonna start getting cold here before too long, but hell, you guys are gonna.
I would say if you want to go to the cabin this year, you should probably aim for
early September,
before mid-September.
How maybe much late. Of that?
We could go up there in October. It's not going to be like.
We've gotten snow here in October before. Y'all got that lake effect snow.
And that's 3.5 hours north of me.
Oh wow.
So yeah, if you guys drove from Indianapolis straight up there, it'd probably be 5 hours and 50 minutes. If I remember correctly. But if we stop halfway at Silver Lake, camp there, they got a really nice campground. And we can go off-roading. They got some cool shit you can do in town. You know, spend the night at a campground, do the rest of the leg of the trip the next day.
Yeah. I'm definitely interested.
Yep.
I need to get you into the off-road chat, and then we need to kind of hash this out. And the problem
off-road chat.
We've got an off-road chat now, bro.
Really?
Yeah, the autocross chat has now split into an off-road chat.
Oh, you're talking about Jay's group.
Yeah, but it's not Jay's group really because Jay's not in it. It's just dudes that are interested in off-roading now.
Sure.
And then Brandon with a 2-wheel drive Dodge. But, you know, well, he'll figure that out. Yeah. I'll tell you what, if that's the question, if that's the end of that conversation, I've got an Instagram question that I have to pull up. So I said I was going to post a story and try to get some input on topics to cover. And I've got a really cool question. It's a multi-part question. It's actually a fairly long conversation. From Lawrence Marcalle. Lawrence Marcalle is how I believe it's pronounced. Lawrence, if you're... Doesn't look like he's in here. although he was wanting to check out the stream. So I apologize if I mispronounced that. But I'm going to read you the full message he sent me, and then we'll dissect it, because it's specifically a conversation for engineers and mechanics.
Oh, here we go.
I said I want to cover this when I get Brandon. And I actually just made a video on part of it today. And I'll tell you which parts we're going to cover. I said, how much thought do engineers actually put into serviceability? I've already made a full response to that. I've covered that a couple times. But then this is the interesting question. I don't know if we've got the experience here to cover this or not, but this would be a really good one to cover. For engineers that have worked at different companies, what differences are there within work environment cultures between a reliable company, like let's say historically Toyota and Honda, versus a more unreliable company, like let's say he specifically mentioned Dodge and other German companies. I'm going to throw Volkswagen under the bus, any of the VAG companies. But he said, what are some of the work differences there? But I believe
it's really hard to say that, because most of the hardcore design engineering for these car companies, not all the time, but usually takes place in the country of origin.
Well, that's fair.
So Toyota, all the Japanese companies, all their true design engineers, like their core group, is in Japan, and Americans don't work there.
I believe Honda has a development plant in
yes,
Ohio.
I know Toyota does have a development center for trucks, like their Tundra and their Tacoma, in, I believe it's California.
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, but for most of the cars, like especially all like the big three American vehicle makers, it's all in the U.S. Volkswagen, it's all in Germany.
Well, I knew that typically it's in the country of origin. Like, I'm trying to be careful. I'm trying to dance around information that could oust us.
Yeah.
I will say that you and I both work for American automotive manufacturers. I worked at,
yes.
You work in, we don't need to say the names, but I have worked for a company. Well, I worked for a company that sold engines to a typically not so reliable American engine company. But I mean, I didn't really see that personally. I didn't really see any of the corner cutting. There was corner cutting. There were a lot of times where, I was told, we're not doing that. We're out of time. You're going to deliver this. But I don't think that's really
What was the question, though? Like, what was the question again?
What is the differences in the environment or the cultures between a historically reliable company like Honda and Toyota versus unreliable companies? And they specifically named Dodge and German manufacturers, which I'm reading as Volkswagen Audi Group.
I don't think either of us have worked at enough of these places to really compare them. And also, these companies are so large, you're gonna have variance in the way that they're operated.
I'm gonna make a guess. I'm gonna make an educated guess on where the unreliability comes from. I believe it's the tools and the design standards. 90% of the designs at my automotive company was driven by design standards. Historically we've done this, so if you compare your new product to that product, this is how it's going to stand up. That's what we're going to produce.
Carryover.
Everything. Yes. It's
$1
million word. The problem is, if your past product wasn't reliable, your carryover product's not going to be very reliable. And if your bolt-to-joint analysis sheet that you're performing bolt-to-joint analysis with isn't very reliable, well, you're going to have failed bolt-to-joints in your new product. If your gasketed surfaces and your gasketed surface analysis sheet is got issues, that new product's going to have issues. Whereas companies like, I'm going to use Toyota. I'm critical of Toyota, but they're more known for having reliable engines. Toyota may have a very strict sheet where it says, you must have a sealing pressure 1.5 times what's required before we'll let you purchase components. whereas a historically unreliable, and I say it with quotes, may require or a design standard of 1 versus 1.5. It gets really complicated really fast. I don't think there's a hard and fast rule of what makes a company reliable versus unreliable,
Yeah,
or
that's.
what's allowed versus what's not allowed.
You'd be surprised how many of these like automotive manufacturers follow the same core set of rules for designing things for a vehicle. It's very standardized.
I would agree.
And anyone that makes a part for a car has to follow the rules of the OEMs. So everybody knows
Yeah.
what the big standards are, and they feed back off of each other too.
Yeah. Brandon,
Okay.
I don't know where all you've worked before your current company, but we will say that you are a career mechanic. You've been a mechanic for, if I remember correctly, you said 11 years?
Getting close to it.
Yeah. So, have you had experience at a company or at a shop that was maybe more trustworthy or reliable versus a shop or company that was maybe more sketchy, unreliable? Do
Well,
you have
so
experience there?
my previous employer was a mom and pop shop. We were pretty much known as a tire store, but we did anything and everything. I mean, just as much as I do at the dealer now.
Mm-hmm.
But at the mom and pop shop, you are expected to know almost everything about every make and model. And so it would be difficult where you may not get the work quality at a mom and pop shop as you would at a dealer, because being dealer trained and knowing the brand, we see trends or whatever on issues that are coming through where a mom and pop shop isn't going to see.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I think I've actually covered that before in one of our talks. I said I would go to a dealership before I go to a mom and pop shop now, just because whatever issue your new car has had, a dealer's been dealing with for the last 6-7 years repeatedly. Like my wife's car. My wife's got a 2014 Escape. I'm just going to take it to the Ford dealership down the road because they've been repairing those since 2014 repeatedly. But yeah, I'm curious. And this is going to be a touchy subject, so please forgive me here. And I'm going to throw out a family member of mine as an example. Car salesmen typically get a bad rap. I think anybody you talk to has probably had a bad experience with a car salesman. That being said, my father's a car salesman. My father is a trustworthy car salesman, almost to a fault, where he's left companies because companies have tried to push him to do things that he wasn't going to do. And when you live in a small town like Brandon and I did, we grew up in the same town. You can't be playing that game because there's only a handful of people you can sell cars to. You have to have them to come back, or you won't have a job next year. So that being said, Brandon, I feel like mechanics also have that same rap sometimes in a mom and pop shop setting.
right.
Have you ever dealt with that? And if so, what was that like?
Oh, I'm sure.
It's one of those things. Well, like the mom and pop shop I worked in wasn't in a small neighborhood by any means,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean there was definitely a decent population there. So I don't think it was necessarily we had to worry about, oh, the workflow is going to slow down because there's not a lot of people in the area. I mean, there was a decent amount of people in the area where like we never had to worry about that per se.
Mm-hmm.
So
Probably easier being a mechanic in a small town.
um yes and no. Like your
That's
work
what I was
days aren't
expecting.
as your work days aren't as crazy and hectic, but as a flat rate technician, workflow is the biggest deal for us. So me being here in Indianapolis, like the workflow, I mean, we're constantly got work. So it definitely helps with the financial side of things.
And that reminds me, Brandon, where we grew up, there was a gentleman His name was Greg. I won't say his last name, but he worked on all of our cars. Growing up, he worked on my Grand Prix forever. That poor car had all kinds of issues, and he would just patch it together. But not because he was trying to do a sketchy repair, because my dad would say, I don't have the money to put a window regulator in that window. Just get it up so it doesn't leak. And he would do that. And I remember, that was the epitome of the mom and pop shop. He was the owner, and he also worked on the floor. Brandon, I'll say his first name. There was a gentleman by the name of Trevor that graduated with us. He was very short. You'll probably know exactly what I'm talking about, but he works there. But it would be that exact mom and pop shop. Somebody like that, they can't play that game where it's, oh, you have to get this, that, or, like the stereotype.
They can't afford to look like they're screwing somebody over.
Exactly.
There's
not enough business in town. It's kind of like the car dealership situation. That's not going to happen, because if you're mad and you don't come back, you've lost one of only a handful of possible customers.
Well, and the thing with, our small town is the fact that there's one dealership in town. All the rest of them are 20 miles away.
Well, there wasn't one dealership. There was 5 for a little while. Because I remember... Go ahead.
I'd say, but right now there's one true car dealer.
Oh, big
manufacturer.
Yeah.
I forgot you guys grew up in the same town.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Levi just hopped in. What's up, Levi? We're trying to get this stuff set up so we can get you and Logan on the podcast here soon. But yeah, we grew up in the same town, and like Brandon said, there's one major dealership in town where it's actually a new car dealership, and then like directly across the street almost is my dad's used car dealership. There used to be multiple car dealers there, and there's just not enough people buying cars, and there's not enough business in town for there to be multiple dealers. My dad's the last one there. And my dad started there when I was a kid. He was selling cars there when I was in high school. Bro. And that was before he started his dealership directly across the stop sign, like across the intersection from that. So for a little while, there was a brand new dealership, a major used car dealership, my dad's brand new used car dealership, and then there was a repair shop across the street from my dad's that was selling cars as well. So you got to remember, you have 4 car dealerships, and
that's small town life, man.
Yeah, it was intense. But yeah, once you start getting into that, the stereotype of like how do I want to put this?
The shitty mechanics.
The shitty mechanic, the shitty car dealer, the shitty anything. It seems like anything with service ruins a company quick. And I didn't know if you had ever seen any of that, because my dad's told me some stories about stuff that he's seen and reasons why he's left. I mean, there was a couple times where my dad actually left car dealers, selling cars for a little while at a brand new Ford dealership, a dealership that's about to lose its franchise, by the way, for the record. My dad left because they were doing some sketchy stuff, and he said, "I'm not doing this anymore." And he went and he was, yeah.
Well, Good on him.
Yeah, this is right before I went to college, by the way. My dad was busting his butt to try to help me go to school, and then all of a sudden he was like, "I can't do this anymore." And he went and he was pulling metal roofs off of these torn down buildings that had asbestos insulation in them. My dad did a lot for me, and
wow.
And he did a lot to try to make sure that his name wasn't tarnished, and he's worked hard to get where he's at. It's weird because I'll be the first to admit I've had bad run-ins with car dealers as well. You know what I mean? It's like Ryan. Yeah, we had that run-in with that dealership in Ohio, and it was just.
Oh my gosh.
That guy.
That's not even the first one that, like, you and I have been to a car dealership and gotten.
Yeah.
Remember that Hyundai dealership we went to in Indianapolis?
I was about to say, well, that's a Hyundai dealership.
I'm just gonna call him out.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
Yeah, we went down there. We went down there to go look at a Chevy. Or no, we went down there to look at a Genesis, wasn't it?
It was a Genesis coupe. Yep.
But they lost the keys.
It wasn't even a nice one. It was an old, like, beat.
Yeah, I think we went down there to look at the Cobalt, and they didn't have the Cobalt keys, and then we were like, "Can we check out the Genesis coupe?"
Yeah, and he's like, "Okay, yeah, sure. Somebody's calling, dude. I gotta go."
Yeah, the dude left and he just didn't come back.
Like, okay, who's strolling into your Hyundai dealership on a Thursday afternoon, bro? What else are you doing?
Everybody trying to get their Theta 2 engines removed and swapped. That's who.
You probably wanted to quit selling them.
Or the dudes with
back.
Or the dudes with Hyundais that actually have like a 7-pin connector in the back that are currently catching fire. Or, the Hyundais that are getting stolen. Or the other Hyundais that have issues.
Don't forget Kias.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot about Kia. Are you ready to turn this into the Hyundai Kia shit?
Sorry if you own a Kia.
I'm not sorry. If you bought a Hyundai Kia, you knew exactly what you were getting in for. You knew what you were doing. You made this bed. You lie in it now. That's right. I'll double down on my shit talking for Hyundai Kia here. Hey, but Hyundai Kia, if you guys are looking to sponsor somebody, we are open to sponsorship opportunity.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding. But that was going to transition to another comment. Ooh.
So back to the tires for a second.
Okay.
Kumo Exta V730s. Is that what you have, Brandon?
Yes.
$584 for a set of 4.
That's not bad.
What?
Yeah.
What size? What size?
205 50/15.
What size wheel you got, bro? What are you buying a 205 for?
I got an ND, bro. I got 15s.
You got like a 6.5-inch wheel? I'm not. That's not an exaggeration. Do you have a 6.5-inch wheel?
No, bro. It's not a Power Wheels, okay? It's an actual car. Thank you.
Okay, well, my Miata comes factory with a 7-inch wheel, so like a 215 is almost too big. So serious question.
Hold on.
You're on an aftermarket wheel.
Yes.
Like, what do you want? An 8-inch? If so, get like a 225.
8-inch wheel.
You're on an 8-inch wheel. Why are you buying a 205? Are you doing?
That's what's on. I just priced out what's on there right now. That's all I'm doing.
Are you trying to stretch your wheels again, bro? Your tires.
No, it's not stretched. I got a 205 on there. A 205.
I think
tire,
a 225 will fit flush.
205 millimeters is 8 inches exactly. What are you talking about, bro?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
That's just tread width.
Yeah, that's tread width.
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense. Because I've got a 225 and it's a little pudgy on a 7-inch wheel. I think a 225.
I mean, okay, hold up.
You need to look up willtheyfit.com.
I invented that website, bro. Does that look stretched to you?
No.
I didn't think so.
That looks like you need a bigger...
That's a 205 15. 205 50 15.
Then you're not on an 8-inch wheel. Simple as that.
Probably not. I think I'm on a 7-inch wheel.
You should look that up. Especially if you're going to spend $500 on tires. Because here's the deal. If you got
I'm not going to buy them right now. I'm just saying. I'm trying to... I would say they are 7-inch wheels.
They're 8-inch wheels, dude. I would say they're 7-inch wheels.
I thought they were more flush than that, but the tire is definitely noticeably wider than the wheel.
This is what Ryan does when he gets a date over 2. It's definitely 4 inches. It might be 3 inches.
It can be 4 inches.
With enough preparation, I could definitely
in the right
get
condition.
4.5. So, speaking of mechanics and the Indianapolis area and Hyundai mechanics, bro, whatever happened to Sleepy Mechanic? Brandon, do you know who I'm talking about?
I feel like I do. I've heard the name before, but
I've heard of it.
So Sleeping Mechanic, I followed him for a little while. He was live for a little while, and I remember I hopped in and I was like, "Hey, this is pretty sick." And he was on there with a bunch of like local Indianapolis dudes. And at the time, he had a motorcycle or something, or he had a car that he just bought, and he was talking about, he was just making ends meet. He had like 20,000 followers on TikTok, but at the time, like I had like $2,000. Like that was a decent amount. And if you guys don't know, Sleeping Mechanic was the one that made the video talking about all the Theta 2 engines that were getting changed on the Hyundai and Kia. And Hyundai, he worked at a Hyundai Kia dealership, and his boss pulled him aside and said, "You're out of here. I mean, which is fair. You can't.
Oh, okay, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. He's from Indianapolis.
I remember him.
He works in an Indianapolis Hyundai Kia dealership.
The only one?
Well, one of
Are
the
there
few.
more? There's more. There's more than one.
There should probably only be one. We can say that for certain. Like I said, I used to kind of keep an eye on him. It seems like he's been dead in the water for a while.
Fuck, bro.
I should reach out to him. It'd be interesting to get him on the podcast. We get like third guest. Like, hey, did you actually almost get sued for like? Because I think I heard like he almost got sued for $50,000. That's a rumor though, so don't go spreading that. But I remember there was like a lawsuit being threatened. But then there's another dude currently that's been running a series, keeping tally marks of how many Theta 2 engines he's changed since the beginning of the year, and I believe he's still going.
What's the issue?
My understanding is it's bad lubrication to the bearings and they're spinning rod bearings. Listen, it's hard telling because there are 7-pin connectors for the toe, like the ones that have like toe packages from the factory. Those are catching on fire, like their 3-row SUV. They're all getting stolen left and right. My understanding is there was also an issue where they just weren't reporting lease information to the government. So there was a handful of people that got a lease on a brand new Hyundai Kia, and then like their stuff got tanked. Credit score got tanked. Like, if you start looking at this stuff, turns out Hyundai Kia gets away with a lot of stupid shit that they just get away with. It's insane. It's almost like people are like, you know what? This is the off-brand car. I know what I bought. This isn't.
Yeah.
This isn't Tylenol. This is the off-brand.
Does the price reflect it?
I don't think so.
I'm going to dive into that.
They put lipstick on a pig, and now everybody's signing up for it. I don't. That's been the best way to describe it.
Kia.
Look up a brand new Palisade. What's a brand new Palisade going for? And then let's compare it to the Lincoln Navigator. Lincoln, Ford.
The Palisade is like the Telluride, right? Kia versus Hyundai.
Oh, I might be wrong. I was trying to compare the 3-row SUV, the Telluride or the Palisade. By the way, they took the Telluride. I call bullshit. There ain't no way they took an all-wheel drive 3-row 4 million pound SUV with full independent suspension up Telluride. Or maybe they did, but they were just like flooring it. Just Palisades are
probably,
ugly. Yes, they are.
It's probably a similar story to the Cobalt being faster than the GTR on the Nürburgring.
Well, we all know that one's true.
It made it, but what happened?
We got
nobody knows.
2000 Green GT. I'm assuming this is a Mustang.
You can get a Telluride, base model Telluride for $35,990. That's not bad for a 3-row SUV.
But hang on, is that 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive? Because I thought this was like their off-road, like
no
overland.
There's probably an off-road package, but
who's buying a Hyundai with an off-road package? Here at Hyundai, we now have a brand new off-roader with 37.
Watch your mouth.
Watch my mouth. What?
Somebody in that chat's just bought a brand new Hyundai.
I just want to be clear. If you have a Hyundai Kia and you're in my chat, I won't be apologizing.
Okay.
I'm gonna double down.
That is all-wheel drive.
All-wheel drive.
All-wheel
drive.
Right?
Active all-wheel drive. I bet that's great off-road. And how heavy is that SUV?
Google it. I don't know.
So you're telling me they have a heavy Honda Passport?
Yo.
Triple down.
Get up to the SX Prestige.
Oh, the
Keep
SX
in mind
Prestige.
you're at $50,000 at this point. You get a center locking diff.
Oh my gosh! If you pay $50,000 for a Hyundai Kia, you get a center locking diff. You can get that on a $6,000 Nissan Xterra. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong right now.
A center locking diff?
A center locking? Yeah, you could lock it in 4-low. Brandon?
Mitchell?
You're the Nissan expert.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't want that title.
You don't want that? I'll claim that title then. I'll take that title. You know, my Nissan's been reliable. I shouldn't have said that.
Center locking diff pretty
No,
much
it's-
turns it into 4-wheel drive.
Oh, it pretty much turns it into 4-wheel drive.
Turns all-wheel drive to 4-wheel drive.
But you still have a full independent suspension. How heavy?
Yes.
5,000-pound SUV. So what's gonna happen when you go over like one rock and you lift one wheel, and all of a sudden that vehicle comes to a stop and you've got to floor it everywhere you're going. And just to be clear, 2000 GT.
Listen, okay, I'm just gonna say it. Can the Telluride make it up Telluride? It's possible. Would it be enjoyable?
Mm-mm.
No.
I'm gonna say it might even be scary.
Yeah.
No, it would not be enjoyable.
Just like owning any Hyundai and Kia wouldn't be enjoyable.
It's actually 4,100 to 4,500 pounds.
Pretty heavy. For...
Pretty heavy, yeah.
I'm gonna
Big
be
boy.
quiet now.
It's a big girl.
The Xterra weighs about 4,200 pounds.
Sheesh.
Let the record show that the Dodge Charger and the Dodge Challenger both weigh more than my full-size off-road SUV on 33s.
Hey, Mitch, just so you know, your Xterra's got 1,000 pounds on the Jeep.
That is true.
My Colorado weighs
45? Ooh.
46. Yeah, she's heavy.
So I've got 1,500 pounds on Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got that big girl life. You do have that extra tow capacity, though.
Yes. Yep.
By the way, in the TikTok live, you should see a cycling video with different pictures. That blue Chevy Colorado would be Ryan's Chevy Colorado ZR2. I love that
can't
truck.
see it. Where can I see this?
If you go to my TikTok,
YouTube. Oh.
yeah, it's not on
On
the YouTube because
YouTube?
no, TikTok
Aw.
is a vertical format. YouTube is a horizontal format. Therefore, we're just perfectly horizontal right now. And TikTok is vertical. Therefore, I have to stack 2 horizontal videos on top of each other.
What's your name on TikTok?
Racing_with_Mitchell. What's up, Brandon Merida? Those Corolla GRs weigh as much as my 2000 GT. What 2000 GT is it, by the way? I can't see. I can't pull up your account. I wanted to, but I don't have access to that on my computer. Is that a 2000 Mustang GT? Wait a second. Does a Mustang GT from the 2000s not weigh as much as I expected? I was expecting 3,600, 3,700 pounds.
What's your name again on TikTok?
Racing_with_Mitchell. MITCHELL.
It is a Mustang GT.
Yeah, he's got a Mustang GT. Dude, you can't go wrong with the old 4.6. Or even
He's
the 5.
live.
What? Oh, yeah,
Nothing.
live. Dude, those old 4.6s are just dead nuts reliable. How much do they weigh? I'm curious. What does Google say? Because in my experience, so for those who don't know, 32 to 35. What? Dude, the SC95 New Edge Mustangs, those are much lighter than I expected. Wow. Dude, because I think the 4th gens are supposed to weigh like, the 4th gen Camaros are supposed to weigh like 3,600 to 3,700 pounds. I didn't realize that. No wonder they make such good, like, just out of the box drift cars. That's surprising. Yes, it's really not too bad. Well, I know the S197 Mustangs were specifically much lighter than the 5th gen Camaros. So I had a black 1LE 5th gen Camaro and a black 1SS 5th gen Camaro, 2 different 5th gens. The 1SS weighed in at 3,780, and I think the 1LE weighed in at 3,760 pounds or something like that. They were just under 3,800 pounds. And we weighed my cousin's 2013 Mustang GT Performance Pack. So the Coyote motor, obviously, manual transmission. And it was like 3,560. I was blown away. That car was much, much lighter than I expected. And it's very enticing. I was already interested in a S197 with the Coyote. I am more interested in a Coyote now. But that's been a while.
Well, you need to buy one then.
He said he thinks the heavy side, which would be that 3,500, would be the convertible. I could believe that. I
Yeah.
believe that. Yeah.
That's a good set of pictures there.
I'm pretty happy with that set of pictures. I had to go through and play with the sizing on everything though, because none of it was the correct native format. But
Right.
yeah. So I've still got a whole handful. We haven't even started touching any of the topics I wrote down. If you guys want, we can get into social media very briefly. I think we've already talked about it, but I've got it on my list. So we've talked a little bit. I've had some pretty decent luck on YouTube. The YouTube Live is not working out, in case you're curious. Luke stopped by, our friend. I can't see viewers, but I can see comments. We haven't gotten any other comments. That or it's broken, but I don't think that's the case. Social media is the Wild West. So I love to try to...
I think it... Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
I was going to say, I love to try to min-max things, especially if I can put it in a format of like a spreadsheet. And I've done that with TikTok, and it's so hard to estimate what does well and what doesn't. It almost seems like the general rule of thumb is if you think something won't do well, it will. If you think it's going to do well, it won't. It is the weirdest thing. What were you going to say?
I forget.
Oh. But yeah, so like for instance, I've got my series of autocross where I post my runs to TikTok. That's how I originally started growing my channel. I made it to around 9,000 followers. And now, ever since my Engineering Explains videos popped off, they don't get anything. They're done. Nobody cares. I posted a long form content today to YouTube. It's doing all right, but it's doing all right for my long form. That's not good. That's like the goal is 50 views. So it's just crazy. Because meanwhile, my short form, Engineering Explains, is, like I said, it's at 1 million views and climbing.
Yep.
And I originally made that in that 2 weeks that I was off work when I had my son when he was a newborn. And I just made it. I saw a video and I was like, I got a funny response for this. And then it did well, and I was like, I'll keep doing it. And then all of a sudden, everything just kept popping off. People on the internet are a bit fickle. It's interesting. I love seeing people come back, but you can't take a break or they're gone. There was a guy named Ghost ETC. Ghost ETC, if you end up seeing this, buddy, I appreciate you heavily. I believe he's actually an Indianapolis local. He's got a little Scion TC. And the dude's been following me for a long time. And I used to see him in my comments all the time. The guy was super nice. A guy with a Honda Civic was in there. I had to bag on him a little bit. The guy's got like I don't know the Gen Civics, but he's got a red Honda Civic SI. And I like it. I mean, nothing crazy. He doesn't race it or nothing, but the guy just posted a video doing the whole like steering wheel out the window thing, like the disconnecting steering wheel. And I was like, come on, man. I was like, you're better than this. I know you are. But yeah, you can't take a break because people are gone. You lose your
it's hard.
momentum.
These people that have lots of social media clout, and that's got to be a tough job holding that up.
Well,
so you get
go ahead.
like Cliff McFarland. Like, I mean, he's got
Oh my gosh.
millions of followers, but that dude he's filming pretty much probably 90% of his life.
Dude,
That's insane.
Trying to record what you're doing makes that thing so much more difficult. Just trying to run a helmet mounted head cam for autocross adds so many new layers of thought. Like, for instance, I had to scrap. I've got a bunch of footage that I was excited to use from our last autocross. It's garbage. The camera is pointed off too far to the left, so you can't hardly see where I'm headed and where I'm trying to go. And it's not worth posting. Nobody cares. I don't want to watch it. 2000 Green GT said, it's hard to figure out what sells, what keeps people's attention. And he's 100% right. As soon as I think I've got something that people are following me to see, I'll post something else and they go, no, that's what I want to watch now instead. I'm not even interested in your old content. I had one video from TikTok do well, and it was making a company look bad. I'm curious. So first of all, you got to tell me, how many views did it get? And what was that video? And because here's the thing, when you talk about a video doing well, there's always a frame of reference. And the reason I kept posting videos to TikTok was because I originally started recording my runs at autocross in the Camaro, the black Camaro, because I just wanted to watch what I was doing so I can try to improve. And then one day I used to have TikTok when it wasn't TikTok, it was a cringy app. I don't remember what the name was, but it was basically just like music and dancing. And I used to follow it for like the EDM music. Anyway, I posted one of my clips up there and it did okay. Get like a couple thousand views. I was like, wow. I did YouTube back in the day and it was like, if we had 50 views, we were pumped. So I was like, I got 1,000 views? That's crazy. And then all of a sudden one of them did 40,000 views. And I was like, oh, well, I should keep at it. And then, here we are now. It's a full-on addiction. Okay, so he said he had 40,000 views on that one video. And like I said, that was it. That was what it took for me to just say, hey, I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to actually put some effort in.
That's a lot of views.
It is a lot of views, yeah.
40,000.
Oh, shit. He said he had a forged stroker kit from MMR. The crank was tapping the bottom of the piston on rotation. Yeesh. That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Wow. Rip. Now I want to hear more about this Mustang, because I assume it's the Mustang you get the stroker kit in, which sounds like it's a hell of a 4.6 at this point. I'll have to check out this guy's channel here in a little bit.
A big problem.
It's a pretty...
Grind down your skirt, bro.
Dude, everybody knows it's always best to lift up the skirt, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But, yeah, I mean, all of a sudden 40,000 views and you're like, well, maybe I'll get a GoPro. Oh, I got 100,000 views? Maybe I should pay attention to my lighting next time. Oh, maybe I should script it. Oh, maybe I should research hashtags. Oh, it escalates. And now all of a sudden you've got all this money and effort invested and you're like, oh, I'm not even in the algorithm. I'm doing like 600 views. And then the very next day it's like, well, that one did 300,000 views. I don't know why, but it did. I posted the exact same shit last week and it did 1,000. It's so crazy. But you guys don't really do the whole social media thing.
No. I just doesn't interest me. I mean, I like doing this stuff, but okay.
This is low effort.
I like it, but you're putting in all the work, and I'm just spitballing it. I don't want to do I know what you have to do, and it's a lot. I think it's more than most people think.
It is way more than people think.
Like you had to get on here like an hour and a half before we even started,
and this is nothing. Like
get it all. I know.
When we did the whole like gaming YouTube thing back in the day, it was a meme essentially, where we would all get on at a certain time to record. And I was on a MacBook, and it was so hard to record on a MacBook Pro from like 2013. It was a nightmare. And I was trying to run Gary's mod. Dude, I streamed one time. I'm telling you, this thing got hot enough. I probably could have cooked meat on this thing. I literally couldn't touch it. It had a metal frame. I couldn't touch one section. I think it was above the battery. It was insane. But I would be sitting there for an hour. Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. It worked last week. I just had it set up. I don't know what its issue. Oh, it didn't record audio. We got to redo it. We didn't record video. Yep. It's a nightmare.
It's a job. People don't realize it's a job.
Yeah.
You really got to... And, at your point in this hobby, you're probably not even really making much.
I'm not making anything. It's negligible.
It's a hobby, right? So
I'll tell you guys this. I have $1.50 from TikTok money.
Why haven't you bought the wheels yet then?
I should have bought my wheel. Brandon said if I got $1.50, why haven't I bought my wheels yet? I'm just trying to buy tomorrow's monster. But yeah, it's weird. Well, it's like I got that video popping off on YouTube, and I've got some videos that have always done decent on YouTube. Not crazy, but okay. But I'm so far away from earning money on YouTube. It's not funny. And it's like Instagram. I can earn money from subscriptions and a bunch of other things, but It's so much more work. I not only do I have to make content, but now I have to make special content for somebody to pay for. I'm not trying to sign up for that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it'll be a rip off to those dudes. I'm just some idiot with a phone. You have to dedicate a lot of time to be successful in social media. It's worse than a full time. I would argue that's true. I don't think you can put in 40 hours and be successful on social media within a reasonable time frame. I would argue that for sure.
Have you ever watched any interviews with Mr. Beast?
Yes, I love.
I'm not a fan. You know, I'm not
What?
gonna say anything.
Oh,
I'm not really a
not say
fan of
anything.
his content. Like, it's not for me.
Yeah.
But man, you can't argue with that dude's dedication. He
Nope.
has put in work.
I want to see
get
his
where he is.
fucking spreadsheets, bro. You know he's got.
You
some.
know he's got them.
Have you
you
heard him
know he's
talk?
got
You've heard him talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm getting excited. I'm just getting a little warm thinking about them spreadsheets, bro. I'm trying to spread those sheets all over my computer monitors.
Mr. Beast is like the product of relentless dedication.
I thought you said Ritalin. I thought you were going to say an addiction to spreadsheets and Ritalin.
I mean, I don't know.
Dude, but that...
I don't know.
That
time he talks about putting into those videos, I mean, man.
Are you ready for this? 2000 Green GT just had an amazing comment. And I wish Luke was here to hear this. Are you ready? I'm going to read it word for word. And you get to be your own boss. But are you really your own boss? He's right. I don't care what you want to upload. If you want to get views, you're uploading what people want you to upload. You're not your own boss. You don't get to pick your hours. If you want it to be successful, you are going to upload regularly.
What is it? Like, I think his name's XQC. He's like a streamer. Dude streams like for 48 hours straight.
Yeah. Dude, the streamers
Oh my god.
Streamers are on another planet, man. I don't think you can have a regular job and then also try to do streaming on the side successfully.
There is one way
we're doing right now,
to quickly become a successful streamer. And I'll tell you what it is.
Okay.
Being a woman.
Yep.
Hang on. I'm trying to get us some more views.
There we go.
Oh, dude. So, actually, on that topic, my wife is interested in streaming. It's not a joke. She brought this up naturally on her own. And I told her, I said, I don't remember exactly what I told her now, but I want to say it was along the lines of, it would be so easy for you.
It would.
It would be so easy. If you turn on a webcam and you have a microphone, done. So the perfect way to explain it is with 2000 Green GT as a comment I'm going to get to in a second. But when we played GTA 5M, which is GTA 5 roleplay, everything is like actual players responding. She doesn't have the exact same game that Dalton and I do. Dalton and I have to deal with cops. We have to deal with gang members. And you've got to work to get information. Yeah, you have to voice chat. Yeah. You have to work to get information. If you're a woman, I'd really like to know where that panel is to activate the job. Oh, here it is. Let
me give you a ride in my cruiser over there.
Oh, why don't you hop in, bro? I'll show you. You got a number? Oh, no, like not in the game, bro. So easy. I remember we were playing DayZ one day, and we were at a trader. It was DayZ mod. We were at a trader, and I hear this woman get on chat, and I look over, and I'm like, oh, who's that? And you see like 3 people surrounding one character, and I was like, that's the girl. There she is. And I was right. There was like 3 dudes around her, dude. And I was like, dude, you're in fucking DayZ. What do you think she's going to do?
I just got a wonderful idea.
Okay.
Does Jessica have Tarkov?
Jessica does have Tarkov. The problem is scavs don't have hope of getting titty pictures on their phone. Scavs will still kill her on sight. Yeah, scavs don't care if you're a woman. They just drop you from 10 miles away.
But PMCs do.
PMCs do, yeah. It's incredible. 2000 Green GT said, in reality, you have the fans, you have the endorsements, you have to worry about and others. That's true. I mean, I got to work with Max Speeding Rods, not Max Speeding Rods, Max Peeding Rods for a little bit. It was interesting. You have to worry about them digging into your past. That's a real concern, bro. That's a real concern. Watch, like one of these days, I'm gonna have videos that keep popping off, and I'm gonna be like, guys, look, I've done it. I've gotten to where I wanted to be. They'd be like, dude, what were you posting on Facebook 10 years ago? Are you shitting me? Dude, I'm not that big yet, so I haven't actually been concerned about it, but I've thought like, dude, like in this age, do you just have to delete that kind of stuff?
Well, look at all the shit they're digging up for everybody. Anybody who's in a public spotlight, they dig and dig and dig and dig until they find. You're always gonna find something like that for anybody.
And I don't think
then
you
it's
even
all
have to
over
dig.
the news.
I don't think you even have to dig.
Some people you don't have to.
No, I think you just have to make one mistake. So, Ryan,
And everything's online forever now. And
yeah.
when we grew up, like I was on YouTube when it came out. Like when it was brand new in like 2006, I was on YouTube.
Yeah.
Thank God I didn't upload anything. But some
Right.
people did, you know?
Oh.
Or they...
Speaking of which, I found an old video from when I was like in middle school that I recorded with I don't even know what. I vaguely remembered this video, but it's my sister and I. We built a Rube Goldberg, and I think there was a YouTuber that was doing a challenge, and there's like 8th grade me, Brandon. That's like all 85 pounds, being like, "Hey guys, this is my Rube Goldberg. This is my mom's treadmill that we're going to use for the first section." And I watched it and I was like, when did I post this? When did this get uploaded? Boy, I hope I didn't say something stupid. Because this would have been like peak Call of Duty era.
Yep.
I was blown away. It makes you
tough.
wonder how many other things like that exist where I'm like, I don't even remember it, but I did some stupid stuff.
And that's true for probably everybody. Is, you know, oh shit, I got recorded saying this dumb thing when I was 14. And I don't think it's right. People get that stuff dug up about them and have to answer for it. It's like, bro, I was in 5th grade. Like, what do you want from me?
Or I've learned a lot. I mean, like,
yeah, people change.
Like Brandon and I, we grew up in a very different environment than where we live now or where we went to school at.
Yep.
You know, our little cornfield surrounded football fields were not the same as the big city schools.
Yep.
Anyway, I thought that would be an interesting one, dude. But you guys got any other comments on that one? If not, I got another topic for us.
What's the next topic?
A little late for this. I think we've already kind of touched on this pretty well, but somebody suggested, and you guys made the same suggestion on who are we, what do we do, why are we here? So it's a little late, but just to be clear, I'm Mitchell. I'm the one that actually kind of runs the Racing with Mitchell channel, and I'm the one that's been posting stupid shit on TikTok for 3 years.
We got 4 viewers, bro.
Yeah, TikTok's doing all right. So I am an actual engineer. My Engineer Explains videos makes it questionable. Dude, you'd be shocked by how many times people have been like, so people will ask me a question and I'll do like my serious response to it. They'll be like, oh, so you're an actual engineer. I'm like, well, yeah, I am. You know, I make the satire videos because it draws out comments. It does well. But yes, I am an engineer. I used to be in automotive design for a couple of years, but now I'm in aerospace defense testing. And Ryan, I don't know how much you want to talk about, but I'll give you
I'm Ryan. Mitchell and I went to school together. We're both engineers, and I currently work in automotive design.
Yeah. So Ryan and I went to college together, but Brandon and I went to high school together. Brandon, I'll give you the floor.
Yep. Me and Mitch went to high school together. Pretty much we graduated together and all that good stuff. And then
Yeah.
reconnected about, I don't know, 5 years ago after school. And um, I'm a mechanic, been a mechanic for about 11 years.
Yeah.
It's
So just to be clear, whenever I say I'm explaining things for all my mechanic friends, there's no S at the end. It's just Brandon. He's my mechanic friend. Green GT said, "Oh, it's you, the engineers." He said, "Thanks for putting the damn oil filter behind the exhaust manifold on the Toyota Corolla."
There we go. Hey, talk to Japan on that one.
It's,
That ain't us.
I like how you just were said, "I blame Japan." you,
Well, am I wrong?
You sound like some country boy from the United States in the a long time ago, I guess. Actually, we haven't really been mad at Japan in a
We
long
live in the
time.
Midwest. It's okay.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Hey, you know what? Y'all keep talking smack. I'm putting all the oil filters in the bell housing. Okay, I'm just be careful what you wish for.
I'm putting the oil filter inside the exhaust.
Inside the exhaust. Yeah, so everybody has to do the oil filter delete mod on these engines, or else it has zero flow out of cylinder 4. It's just blocking an entire cylinder. Yeah,
The way things are going, they don't want you changing your oil ever.
Yep.
So
I have heard rumors of that from
it's real.
the company that used to be
real.
a designer for a person that we all know. He supposedly said, yes, we are supposed to make it somewhat difficult to work on emissions systems. That is, by the way, not oil filters, not your cooling system. Emissions, yes. It sounds like that is a real thing. I don't know the full extent of it, though. It sounds like it's just like intellectual property interfaces, IP. That is a real thing, though, IP. I almost talked about IP on an oil filter before. I've literally had our sister company that I used to work for, I literally had them tell us, yeah, if your customer doesn't buy our oil filter, it'll leak. If they buy a third-party company oil filter and it's not been designed correctly, it'll be designed to leak. And that's how they protect their investment. I mean, they're only making so much money on the filters we ship with. They want to make money on the filters that the customer's buying later on. Whoa, what? Did you hear about Allison's new 12-speed? I assume automatic. I assume this is like a full heavy-duty line haul engine transmission. Did you hear about Allison's new 12-speed? You can't fix it at our level. You have to buy a new one. What is our level, though? Is that like a major truck shop?
Talking about a mechanic, I think. Mechanic level, they don't want you opening it up.
Well, most
Just buy a
Nissan,
new one.
I'd say most Nissan automatics, we do not open them up. CVTs we do, but the automatic transmissions, we do not open them up.
I thought they didn't have issues with the automatics, just the
Well,
CVTs.
it's just the occasional,
I
like on the exteriors and stuff that with the mixing of coolant and all that, that kind of stuff. But most of the time, we don't have any issues in our automatics.
Interesting. I didn't know that. To be fair, I've watched Daniel Drives, which I'd like to have Daniel Drives on here eventually. He just had a part of 4L60E from his Buick Roadmaster. Don't quote me on that. And it was already going way above my head. I'm just like, bro, I don't understand how any of this is supposed to work.
Magic.
Mechanic level, they won't sell you parts or anything. You got to buy a new one. So, that is our fault, Ryan. So engineers set what's called the buy level part. If you ever had a part, a component, Brandon, and you said, well, there's this system and it's like a plastic component with a metal plunger and then a seal, but I can't buy the seal. I have to buy the whole assembly. Well, that assembly is the buy level part. That's the component that we've communicated to the supplier. You need to be able to manufacture enough of these to supply repairs. That is set by the designer, actually.
So here, I've got one that's, going back to the transmission thing and whatever you're talking about, engineering things. But so I had a Cummins, the
Oh no.
Nissan Titan,
Oh no.
with the Cummins. I replaced the engine. Well, I noticed the torque converter seal was cut. And I'm like, okay, so this is on the input shaft of the transmission.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, all right, well, we need this seal. So I go to my parts department. They cannot find this seal. They call Nissan. Nissan's like, oh yeah, we don't sell you that seal. You need a whole transmission.
Yep.
So and it's like a $2 seal, but now you've got to buy a $3,500 transmission.
I'm just gonna say,
Whoa, wait, you couldn't even buy like the converter? You had to replace the trans?
Yes, you had to replace the entire trans
for a broken seal.
or a broken seal.
Oh my gosh. That's not my fault.
Nothing.
That's the transmission company there, bro.
This may surprise you, Mitch, but nothing I work with is a bi-level part. None of it.
I hate you. You know what?
And it's not my choice.
You know what? I'm moving over here. I got the mechanics back now. You're the evil. I want to be clear. I fought for bi-level parts. I fought for it. They don't need to buy that O-ring for the dipstick. They can just buy a new dipstick. Bro, our dipsticks aren't cheap. I don't remember how much your dipsticks were.
I don't think this is a problem with the design side, though. This is a problem with the supply chain.
Do you not set bi-level parts? Because I did.
I do not. No.
Okay. I did, however, most of mine was set historically. So they would say, historically, we would sell this dipstick O-ring as a bi-level part. So yeah. But I was allowed to make that case of...
Maybe I haven't gotten to that point yet.
Well, that or your guys' how comfortable are you with me saying what you work on? The systems. You work on drivetrain components. You work on more complicated systems than just a $50 or a 50-cent seal. So, but to say, because at the same time, you've got some seals in there that are just like, oh, the output shaft seal's leaking. Well, okay, I guess you won't have output shaft seals leaking with what you're doing. You're into electric stuff. I have to say that.
I am mostly involved with electric axles.
So you don't really have to worry about like an output shaft seal on a diff housing leaking.
We definitely have seals to worry about.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't understand how
lots of seals.
By the way, we've had a couple people pop into the YouTube chat, so I would love to say the name. This guy's got a fancy name that's like all over the place. It's got some fancy buttons. And then we got lol. Yeah, I'm here, bro. Just different username on YouTube. I don't know who that would be. Oh, that would be viewers. That would have been Michael. Hang on, let me get his name. I don't know. That would have been Lawrence. What's up, Lawrence? That would have been Lawrence on YouTube. Lawrence, I appreciate you stopping by. I apologize. It took me a second to recognize that I was checking the TikTok stuff. So if you're still here, I appreciate you.
Back to the bi-level parts, like what you can buy individually.
Yeah.
Brandon is completely right. That is ridiculous. Having to buy a new trans for a seal? That is ridiculous. Why?
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think something like that as a technician, there are occasions where we've replaced torque converters. And
I mean, I can understand in a case where you have a cracked housing or a cracked PTU.
But
you gotta buy a new one.
Yeah,
that's a full casting. That's a big part of it. Yes.
So let me explain this for anybody who hasn't worked in the design side. The mechanics, you guys know how things assemble, and you guys can pull apart things way better than I can, for example, and assemble things way better than I can. Brandon, I've had to call you specifically multiple repairs, but the thing you guys haven't had to sit down and really think about is how is this going to get assembled? For instance, let's put together a case of like a transmission housing. It's really hard to justify replacing just a transmission bell housing or casing. How many people are going to buy a casing and then swap the innards from the trans, put them in a new casing? They're not going to.
And there's a lot of cases where there's components that have an extremely high interference fit, where
Yes.
you're never gonna get them out.
That's
So
the
you
kind of
might as
things.
well just buy a new one.
Yeah. That's the kind of
'Cause they're-
things where we have to consider the buy level part. Now, if you ask me, anytime you have a seal that you can get to with reasonable teardown, that kind of stuff should be replaceable. If it can be reasonably accessed through a teardown, that should be replaceable individually. Now, if we're talking like a $15 dipstick and you don't want to sell $1 seal, I think that's a little cheap, but I get it. If I have to pull the entire dipstick to replace the seal, yeah, okay. I might be convinced to buy the dipstick. Green GT said that's what I'm assuming is the issue with the Allison 12 speeds. Yeah, but see, I'm sure we can all sit here and name generic seals that are probably found on this transmission that should be accessible. I don't know anything about automatic transmission 12 speed. I don't know if this is like a H pattern manual transmission with the different ranges like those heavy duty engines have, or if this is just 12 speed automatic. But still, somebody like a mechanic who is trained in this stuff should be able to get in there and say, this seal has failed on a handful of these units. Let me just replace this and charge you the labor instead of the entire brand new transmission.
Well, and I would say at that point, I mean, I don't know what phase you were at installing this transmission, Brandon, but if it came off the truck with a damaged seal, send it back to Nissan.
Well, it was Nissan warranty, so like the customer got lucky on that one. But like, my thing is,
Okay. Gotcha.
my thing at the end of the day, though, where something as simple as a seal, that they make them enough that Nissan's getting.
That's an external component, right? That's something that's open to, Mother Nature. You got to be able to replace that stuff
I wouldn't
at
say
an individual level.
I wouldn't say it's quite open to Mother Nature, but it's still like simple enough that it should be serviceable.
Yeah.
At what point do you just say, and I'm not advocating for this. At what point do you just say, "Oh, the transmission's not serviceable. When it fails anything, you replace it," which is not a good route to take. I'm just being clear, but it almost feels like that's what they're trying to say. Oh, I mean, like it almost feels like a similar example would be, oh, your rear main seal's leaking on that LS3. Oh darn, you can buy a brand new one for $10,000, for $8,000, $6,000.
Yeah. As a technician, like that's like, as a, warm-hearted, like I actually care about the people. I would rather spend, the labor of fixing the issue than replacing a full part, like like you said, engine, trans, whatever. It's like I can just pound in a new seal and look, we're good to go. Customer bought a $12 seal and 5 hours labor and we're fixed. Instead, now we're spending $3,500 on a trans, 5 hours labor to install trans, and now
Yeah. And
So
just
this
to be
was a
clear,
brand new car where the seal happened to be leaking on the trans,
it
and they
was
got it warranted.
well. So it's it was a Cummins, so they quit making those in 19. I want to say it was a 17, maybe 18, but the Nissan Titans have a 5-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
it was somewhere after 18. I want to say it was 2020.
Um,
No, it's because it was before COVID. Shit, you might be right. Late 18, early 19.
well, they made the Nissan Titan Cummins from 2016 till 2019. So,
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
but it definitely had less than 100,000 miles. So
That's nuts. But
But well, to play devil's advocate a little bit here, the seal broke. Yes, it was still under warranty. Should you be able to buy a replacement seal? Yeah. And I'm betting you the reason they don't sell you the seal is because if that seal gets damaged, what's inside your transmission now? What got in there?
If it's a torque converter seal, Brandon, I can only imagine you're mixing trans fluid with trans fluid. I don't think that's a severe
Oh, it's a
failure.
torque converter seal.
Did
Wait,
you?
what?
You said it was?
Yeah, it's the torque converter seal. So there's the torque converter, and it slides onto the input shaft,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's the seal that goes into the front pump and the.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about like an output shaft seal.
No, this is like it
Okay,
goes around the input shaft it, and it seals against the torque converter
I see.
through the trans, like the case.
I don't think there's a good excuse for this. I'm not an expert on automatic transmissions, specifically torque converters, so I don't know exactly where this seal would be, but this
Well,
feels
he
like it
just
should be
told
replaceable. Well, I know, but that torque converters are magic to me. So, all right, let me pull up my notes.
Yep.
As Ryan said last stream, we get to hear and go on with the engineers versus mechanics thing for years, but I just want people to know. Some of us engineers care. We try.
We do.
Ooh, 2000 Green GT said he's got a T56 Magnum. I don't. Did the SN95 and New Edge Mustangs come? I don't think they came with a T56.
No.
So he must have done a T56 swap, which is good taste, my friend. Very nice taste. The next question was going to be, and this was also from Lawrence. He asked this in his message to me on Instagram. Why are you an engineer or mechanic? So if you guys want to touch on this real quick, because I feel like we've kind of beat the engineer.
Why
versus
are we
mechanic thing.
engineers?
Yeah, I can go first if you want.
Go ahead.
I don't know. I'm an engineer because I grew up playing with Legos. And my mom was like, "Oh, you'd make a really good engineer one day," and I was like a kid, like I don't even know how old I would have been, like what, 8, 10? And I was like, "All right, Mom, we're an engineer. Cool." That's just what I did now. So I didn't really ever like think like, what do I really want to do? I was just kind of like, yeah, we do engineering. Cool. And then I went to school for mechanical engineering. I didn't do so hot in one of my calculus classes. And then I learned that there was a difference between ME and MET, mechanical engineering technology. And I was like, oh, I don't want to sit behind a computer and design. I want to be a technician and I want to work on stuff and I want to instrument stuff. So that's what I did. I studied mechanical engineering technology. And then I got my degree and I became a designer for 5 years.
Can we collectively agree that ME and MET are pretty much the same thing?
No, they're not.
Can we just say that?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't sit behind a desk and design anymore. I'm okay.
But you did. You did.
I did. Yes.
You had the skills. You had the skills.
For anybody that's in school, for anybody that's in school, yes, ME versus an MET degree
you can
isn't
get the
as
same
big of a,
jobs.
yes.
You get the same jobs.
If you've got enough experience, that degree doesn't mean shit. It doesn't matter. If you show up and you say, I have a piece of paper from a school, but more importantly, here's where I worked and what I did, that's what they care about.
That matters the most.
Yeah. And again, just like Ryan said, yes, I had an MET degree. I got a job. There was a huge layoff at my company. They were like, congrats, you're the designer. And then I took over some components that were already at production. And I was like, I have no idea what's going on. And then there was a change up and they said, hey, we have a brand new product coming across our desk. You're going to be the loop system engineer. And I was like, okay. And yeah, I followed that one from the early stages. There was me and the design lead for the entire program. Like the guy who makes all of the decisions for the entire engine. It was just me and him. And he was like, you are the lube, cooling, and breather system guy. And I was like, okay. And yeah, and eventually we ended up handing it off to a couple other people as well because there was way too much changing. But yeah, I just kind of stumbled into being a designer. But now I don't really do much like engineering stuff. I'm more a project manager. It's interesting. Anyway, Ryan, why did you become an engineer?
So I actually come from a family of engineering.
Ooh.
On my mom's side, at least. My grandpa and my aunt and a couple of other extended family members they're actually mostly aerospace engineering. So that was a pretty heavy inspiration to go to engineering school. And also, same thing as Mitch. I was playing Legos all the time. I would take every single thing apart to see how it worked. Anything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was kind of a natural progression.
2000 Green GT said we became engineers because mechanics need heroes too. Brandon, can you confirm or deny that allegation?
I promise you, an engineer are not my heroes.
Oh no!
Oh God!
We got shade thrown. All right. So Brandon, why did you become a mechanic?
Really, kind of like Ryan. Like it was just kind of the family. Like, wasn't necessarily a family thing. Like I'm pretty much like the only mechanic in my family. But growing up on the farm, growing up on all that, doing that stuff, like grew up just turning wrenches. Like, and it was just enjoyable. But like at a young age, it was taking like my Hot Wheels apart, whether or not just to figure out how they work. It's just a matter of putting them back together.
Right.
It was enjoyable, and so it was just one thing led to another, and here I am.
Yeah. I've got an interesting story for you. Brandon, did I cut you off?
No, you're good.
So I've always been interested in tinkering with things, kind of like you did, Brandon. I grew up playing with bicycles with Dalton, and I never really was able to get like the nice new bicycles, even the ones from Walmart. We got the yard sale bicycles, and I had a handful of those, and like the mechanics have like they've got their graveyard with cars that they pull parts off of whenever they need them. That was me with bicycles. I had bicycles in the backyard that was like, oh, I need a brake lever and I need a brake assembly. I'm going to put it on this bike and, oh, I'm going to swap to this frame. But the thing is, I didn't do like the BMX stuff. I just wanted to wrench on bicycles. Well, I always was interested in tinkering with this stuff, but my dad didn't do it. My grandpa that was alive didn't do it. Or, I'm sorry, my grandpa that had passed away that I heard about a lot about didn't do it. I only had one grandpa that fixed stuff. And he fixed stuff because they just didn't have a whole lot of money. That's what he had to do. Sorry, my son just got wheeled in next to me. But my grandpa ended up having cancer when I was like in 3rd grade. He had cancer since when I was little. And my earliest memory was of him just kind of bedridden. But it's funny because as I've gotten older, I've been so interested in working on stuff, fixing things, and that's what he did. And I remember like when I was a kid, I do have one memory when he was somewhat healthy. He fixed my 90cc four-wheeler. It was a pull start. I remember I asked Dad to start it up for me one day, and I was watching. My dad was pulling it, and the next thing you know, he pulls it, and his hand goes flying back, and the string comes out with it, not attached to the crank anymore, or the pulley. I remember just sitting there looking as I watched the string come out, and like little kid me is like, that's it. The 90's done. I'll never get to ride this four-wheeler. I was gutted, bro. Absolutely sick to my stomach. Little 7th grade, 7-year-old, 8-year-old me. I just so depressed because my four-wheeler wasn't going to ever start again. And Dad didn't really have the money to fix it. We ended up getting it over to my grandpa's shop, and I remember we pushed it in the barn, and I don't remember much. We came back, and Grandpa fixed it. And I remember I was like, dude, Grandpa, this is like superhero level shit. I don't know how he got that.
That's how my grandpa was.
Yeah.
Superhero. He can fix anything.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Did I tell you the man? Well, if you guys came up and stayed at the cabin, he helped build that thing when he was 6 years old.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yep. And he built his own house in Ohio, and he built a lake house up near the cabin that he's since sold. But
wow,
I mean, the dude has done some wild stuff.
Yeah. But it seems like that's where a lot of this comes from. But it's just funny to hear that like I didn't get to grow up turning wrenches with my grandpa. My other grandpa passed away when I was before my mom met my dad. But it's just funny that it seems like the genes are there. So we'll find out now if Eli gets them, my son.
Better watch it. He's going to become a mechanic.
Oh.
Hey.
I was about to say he better not be. No son of mine. No, I'm just kidding. What's up, dude? He just got back from a walk. He's half asleep. What you doing, dude? He is dead tired. But
I will say though, there's a big argument on which side is more difficult, engineering versus mechanics.
There we go. Get comfortable, Brandon. Or don't get comfortable.
I don't know if the grass is much greener on the other side, guys. To be honest, I mean,
I want to say it goes both ways.
I think it goes both ways for different reasons.
yes,
Obviously, being a mechanic is far more physically demanding.
yes.
Brandon listened to me talk about how my back hurt so bad putting the cam in the Camaro because we had to work on it for 3 days. Oh, my poor back. And Brandon was like, dude, I do this shit 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, every day. This isn't nothing. But I will tell you, when you're sitting in your fourth hour-long meeting of the day, and it's only lunch,
You're eating lunch while you're in a meeting.
Yeah.
And you have to have like laser focus the whole time, all day long. It's pretty mentally draining.
Yeah, and that's where I think it goes both ways because your guys' job's definitely more mentally draining, where ours is more labor intensive. But and then I'm sure there's days with you guys like there's days where it's more labor intensive, and there's more mental days for me as well.
Sure.
Also,
and there's a lot of weight on us too to like. I'm sure Mitch has felt the same thing. Like, we got to make sure this works the right way, the way people expect it to work, and sometimes making sure that's going to happen is extremely difficult and intensive.
Yeah, you guys got corporate just breathing down your back, where I've got the customer, so
that's got to be equally rough. I imagine having people call you, I need my car, blah blah blah, or the meme, don't try to upcharge me. I know what I'm doing.
Yep.
But I do remember. Did I cut you off?
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I do remember one day at my old job, my design job, I remember at noon, somebody called me and said, hey, this design, we can't manufacture this now. I don't remember what the issue was, but it was going to be manufacturable, and then they were going to ship it out to a different location to be manufactured because they couldn't meet production requirements. And I said, so you're telling me at noon that you guys need a new design tonight to start manufacturing next week? Yes. So at noon, I canceled all my meetings that afternoon, and I started designing. It was a dipstick, thankfully, so I wasn't having to do like full CFD. It was the only reason why I was able to do this that day. I started putting together a new design that I just had to meet like our general design standards for like tube bend radius and distances between bends and stuff. But I put it together. I had to throw together a preliminary print and send it out to the supplier. I remember I was at my computer. I just couldn't leave. I mean, if I wanted to do my job successfully, I was there until it got done, and I was there until 7 p.m. that night.
Yep.
And I finally logged off. Yeah. Go ahead.
That happens to me on a weekly basis, where I get something that comes across my desk. I need it tonight because we have a meeting at 8 tomorrow. It needs to be perfect.
I can't do it anymore. Yeah. Especially after having the job that I have now. Aerospace is such a different atmosphere. So I work in aerospace defense now, but I work in testing. I don't work in design anymore. The design can get crazy, yes, but testing. Listen, all of our guys on the floor, they're all hourly. They're protected by the union. They're going to work 8 hours and then they're going to go home. So you know what that means? There's only so much that I can do. So somebody will be like, hey, I really want to get this thing rebuilt by next week. Can I get that done? And I'll be like, that's my asset. Yeah, I'll get that done. I'll go to my shop guys. I'll be like, hey, what's up, guys? I'll be like, hey, what do you need? And I'll be like, can you get that rebuilt by Monday? They'll be like, no. And I'll be like, oh, I tried, guys, but it can't get done. But it's crazy because I've got that protection. I'm not part of the union, but the union's kind of protecting me too.
The test lab does look more appealing as far as
love it.
Time crunches, I gotta say.
Now, I will say when the engine that I worked on comes out at my old job, I'm going to be a little sour. You know, I legitimately think I'm going to make it a point to drive to the dealership that sells this engine and just say, hey, I can't afford this truck, but can you please just open the hood? I want to see how much of my stuff is still here.
Can I touch the dipstick just for a second?
Can I? You're gonna see me operate it like, son of a bitch. They definitely didn't follow the standards for the number of bends within a certain distance. I don't remember much of it now, but I put a lot of time into making sure that damn thing worked. If you guys don't know the LS3, the Corvettes and the Camaros, those dipsticks suck. And I owned an LS3 at the time when I was designing dipstick. And I said, I won't have it. This dipstick's going to work. Okay, the farmers that buy these things when these things are 15 years old, they're going to love me.
And just, since you were on the top of dipsticks, I think you worked on a lot of other things too, but
I own the entire loop system for the new major diesel engine. Yeah.
It sounds kind of like silly, like designing a dipstick, but like I feel like some people don't understand how difficult and time intensive it is to design even the simplest thing and make it work every single time.
Yeah. There is a trade-off specifically to the dipstick. The design is simple. I don't have to do CFD. I don't have to do FEA. I don't care what kind of harmonics it's going to see because it's a tube. It's going to have two brackets. Odds are it's going to pass any vibrations that it needs to pass through. That's not really an issue. Like, let's say, an oil pump. Is it going to cavitate? How's it going to run when it's minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit? Our trucks were allowed to run at minus 40, bro. Our trucks needed to be successful in Antarctica or Alaska.
Yep.
We were literally
negative 40 to 150 C is like the standard right now.
Okay, so that's where that came from. I always wondered where that came from, but yes, that's exactly what we followed.
People want these cars to fully function at negative 40 degrees Celsius, which if you don't know the conversion, that's negative 40 Fahrenheit.
Oh, I didn't know
up to 150 C, which is like 300.
Yeah, listen,
Fahrenheit.
Your truck.
Around that.
I'm just gonna warn you. You start your truck at minus.
Where the hell are you gonna go? Where your trucks? I don't care what you're towing. Well,
I hope you're not towing.
You could probably get it up. You could probably get it up to that temperature.
I'm just gonna tell you right now.
Dumb enough.
I'm just gonna tell you right now. I've seen oil startup pressurization times on these trucks. It's a mid-range, common pickup truck diesel engine. You don't wanna run it out in Alaska. It passes. I wouldn't do it often. I've seen some people that live. I've seen some videos of people that live. I don't know if it was Antarctica or Alaska, but they were like, "Yeah, we just have to leave our vehicle running," and they have a fire pit underneath of it, bro. Literally underneath the engine block. And they're like, "Yeah, you can't shut it off." And I'm like, "Dude, do you know how much water is sitting in that oil right now? Do you know how much fuel is sitting in that oil? Do you know how much more wear you see from that engine idling overnight?" But then I'm like, oh, it's going to take 20 to 30 seconds before it builds any oil pressure at this temp.
Yep.
You got to send it. It's crazy.
Man, these OEMs, I'm telling you, they want these things to survive anything.
It's ridiculous.
This is funny because we talked about the Tail of the Dragon already. There is a Tail of the Dragon duty cycle that exists.
No.
For trucks.
Oh.
For trucks.
I didn't hear about that one.
Who's ripping their truck down the Tail of the Dragon?
We had one for some famous mountain range out in the west, if I remember correctly. But I don't remember what it was now. But
I know exactly. It's a dam in
Nevada. Yes. We sent our prototype
engines.
The
same thing.
We threw the prototype engines and some truck chassis, and we sent a group of them out there, and we were.
I gotta know it now.
Green GT said he put a flexible dipstick in his 462 valve. Fun fact: I've done some dipstick. What was it called? Some measurement testing, essentially. So you can model a dipstick all day long in Creo. You can do it. It'll look great. But as soon as you get it, that dipstick never wants to quite lie in the tube how you predict it to.
Yep.
And listen, you can grab a dipstick tube, shove it into the block, and then if you rotate it around its port, okay, you take the dipstick because obviously it'll come off at like an angle. You can rotate around that port, and that measurement will change drastically. So
Yeah.
I'm curious where that flexible
there's
dipstick
so
came
much.
from.
It's like not only the designing the component, making sure all the tolerance stack ups will put it, in a place where it'll still work, but also then you get to the side where it's like, can somebody even make this?
Yeah. Oh
Okay,
yeah.
but they can't make it. Okay, we got to change the design. What can you do? Okay, you can't do this, you can't do that. Let's go back to the drawing board and make it work and still function fully.
Yeah.
It's a challenge.
He had a question of why didn't the Ford designer engineers put the 5.4 valve in the F-150? But the 4 valve wasn't the 4 valve the like hoopty motor that came in the GT 500s.
I believe so.
Wait,
What was the question again?
why didn't they put the 5.4 valve in the F-150s? But the 4 valve is so the 4 valve came. I know for a fact there was a 4 valve supercharger that came in the 0709 GT 500s, and I think in 10 they got the 5.8. Don't quote me on the 2010s, but I know it was the old 4 valve. But in the GT500, it was in the Ford Mustang GT500, it was an iron block, and then it was an aluminum block dry sump in the Ford GT.
I mean,
It came in the Navigator, he said. Okay, if it came in the Navigator, I don't know why it didn't come in the 150s.
Well, but at the end of the day, though, like the F-150, it's most people that are buying an F-150, it's gonna be a work truck.
Yeah, that's
So,
fair.
I mean,
Agreed.
where the Navigator is more of your luxury SUV.
Yeah, I could see that.
That was probably a marketing decision.
Right.
And I think back then there was a thing for the like the Escalade, the Navigator, the Hummer.
Yeah, that was, the big, those were the big, ticket items back then.
Shit.
Yep.
We have the Escalade V. Where's the Navigator SVT GT 500? Navigator?
I don't think the Navigator ever got
I
anything.
don't think it exists anymore.
I don't think it ever existed, but I'm curious like if it would ever be a thing to compete with the Escalade V. I don't know why the Escalade V is a thing even, to be honest. But
Well, speaking of Ford,
uh-oh.
you guys ought to come up here for an autocross somewhere near here. You
Yeah.
can stay here,
Nor.
and I can take you guys to the
Northwest
Ford
Ohio?
Museum.
I would like to
That
go.
would be sick.
The Ford Museum is lit. It is insane.
What I need to do then is I need to take the Mustang to the Ford.
Yes.
That would be a blast.
Well, you'd be up here for autocross, so I would assume you'd have it.
Yes, that is true.
You should
Or a
find
track
out.
day.
You should look up how far the Northwest Ohio region autocross club is from you. And then, like I said, I'll just bring the Miata down. You can just run the Miata.
I'm an hour and 15 minutes from Toledo. Where is Northwest?
I don't know. I've never run there. Jay just ran there. He said it's a great museum. The Shelby Museum is also amazing. I didn't even know there was a Shelby Museum. That would be amazing as well.
There are so many museums.
Okay, we're going to come up there soon.
There's like 3 Ford museums alone. Just Ford.
That's fair. Ford's the only one that actually does really cool.
I'm telling you, Ford is
packages.
big up here. The
oh.
presence, I would say the presence here, like the big 3 automobile maker with the most presence up here is definitely Ford. By far.
I was going to say I wonder if it's because of rust, but Ford's definitely got rust issues.
GM has a pretty big presence as well. They own the Renaissance Center, which is the tallest building in Michigan.
Oh.
Which is also a museum at the bottom. That's really cool as well.
So.
Yeah, it looks like Toledo. So I would be like an hour and a half from that. Anything in Toledo.
Okay. I don't know how far we are from Toledo, Brandon.
Like a look.
You're probably 3 hours and 30 minutes.
It was okay. I'll be honest. Once we start looking at
Well,
2.5
you,
hours,
Mitch, you are probably 4 hours.
yeah. Once we start looking at 2.5 hours and longer, I think I'm gonna be making a case of towing down for sure.
Yeah, it's 3.5 hours from my house.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think I would be hooking up a trailer for that, Brandon.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Just because, especially if I'm gonna go down there and co-drive, I'm not gonna go down there and lift. So if I start fucking wheel hopping, I'm just gonna run through it. And I don't want to get down there and be like, oh, the car's acting funny. I got to baby it. No, I've paid the money. I'm going to go run. The Miata's going to get thrashed. So,
Yeah, you guys can tow
yeah.
up here. Brandon probably would be good to not tow.
Yeah, I'd probably just drive it.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
guys can like, I don't know, leave on a Thursday night, take off a Friday if you can.
Oh, no. That's cute. Autocross typically runs on a Sunday, buddy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
right.
that's probably we run down on a Saturday.
Sure. Yeah, and then we can
Friday night, get up there
check out
Friday
the
night.
museums on Saturday, and then Sunday morning head down to Toledo. And you guys
Ryan,
can just drive back after that.
we have something we have to talk about before we get offline, by the way. We don't have to get off right this second, but we need to get this in here because this is going to be this might break some hearts. Your heart, not necessarily Brandon's.
Oh no.
The Trans-American Trail trip. For those of you guys that don't know, Ryan and I are working to do the Trans-American Trail in 2025.
Are you bailing?
No, I'm not bailing, but we need to
Okay.
put some additional thought in. It's a little weird for me because I currently have a 5.5-month-old son, and I have a wife that now is working full time. I don't know where that'll be in 2025. Hopefully, she'll still be working full time. So, being gone for 3 weeks, which is what we originally were kind of estimating, is difficult. But we can make it work. Somebody posted on the Trans-American Trail Facebook group, and they said, blah, 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 I want to run a Jeep. But I've been hearing that for a 4x4, you need to add additional time. And in my head, I originally read that and was like, oh, it goes from 2 weeks to 3 weeks. Yeah, you're good, dude. 3 weeks, cool. I'm thinking 4 to 5 weeks out and 1 week driving back is what he said. And all the comments are saying, yeah, 4 to 5 weeks plus 1 week driving home. I'm not so certain we can do Arizona to the West Coast in 3 weeks, is what I'm getting at.
Really?
That's my concern.
Arizona?
You can.
It doesn't go through Arizona.
Oklahoma? Are we starting in Oklahoma?
That's
Arkansas.
where we plan on starting.
I thought Arkansas.
Yeah. Well, we'd be starting on the border of Arkansas and Oklahoma.
Right. But my point still stands. I think there's a real concern that this is going to take longer than 3 weeks, which it is what it is, but this is just becoming harder and harder to have time off from work with and harder to leave a 2-year-old
What
son
if we
home.
started in New Mexico? That would leave roughly a third of the journey left.
That's fine. All these are reasonable solutions, but we clearly need to do more research and understand how long does it really take. Not only from the east to the west coast, but from
I think we ought to
Middle
buy
America
some of the
over.
maps.
I think we should try to talk to somebody in person on a podcast that's done the Trans-American Trail.
Find us someone. I would be interested.
I would love to. So that's the original reason I said I want to do a podcast. This originally I had talked about maybe just doing a Trans-American Trail podcast because there's not really a whole lot for 4x4s that want to do the Trans-American Trail. There's not really a whole lot for people on a motorcycle that want to do a Trans-American Trail, but there's a lot less for 4x4s. So I want to try to reach out to Billy Teo, the guy and that son that did the trip. I don't know how that would be. I don't know if they're even open to that kind of stuff. They don't know who I am, but I think it would be really cool to talk to him. Yeah, the vet museum's in Kentucky, which is a course that I would love to run in the Miata, but NCM is expensive. Have you looked up NCM, by the way, for a car, right?
No.
Cheap.
Let me do that.
So anyway, this guy says he has a Ram 2500 Cummins. And they got rid of the Cummins.
And just while we're on this topic, I'm just gonna say it. If you haven't done NCM,
What?
Just do it.
I wanted to say you haven't done a track day.
Do it. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me borrow $400 just to sign up, Ryan. And then the additional
Your
$100.
wife, you just got done saying your wife just got a full-time job.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Aren't you an engineer? We make all that money, dude.
I forgot.
So much.
I forgot we're filthy
We make
stinking
so
rich.
much money, dude.
Oh my gosh.
We are rich.
Did it look like I was? Did it look like I was really concerned about money for a minute? I tried.
Good joke, bro.
That was a little
You got
conceited even for me. yeah. My wife is gonna bring home additional money. Did I tell you how much our daycare is gonna be, by the way, for a month? This is cheap, by the way. I just want you guys to know. This is almost concerning level cheap. But this lady has worked with kids with like autism and Down syndrome, so she's clearly very patient. We trust her. $600 a month.
Oh my god.
Ryan, a more reasonable estimate is $800 to $900 a month.
One of the guys I work with, he pays $1,200 a month.
Yep.
I'm like, dude, that's a house payment.
Yeah, that's a nice house payment.
That's more than my mortgage.
2000 Green GT said, "I never suspected he has money. He drives a Miata." You're right. That is why I drive a Miata.
Hey,
that's why we're here.
Quit.
Oh, shut up! You got a brand new fucking truck. Don't talk to me about being broke. I don't want to hear about it. Oh, he doesn't have a brand. He's got a 2-year-old truck, Brandon. Oh.
Never than anything I own.
Yeah, I bought a 2011 Nissan Xterra, and I was like, wow, I got a nicer vehicle. I got a newer vehicle.
The newest thing I own is a Mustang, and it's a 15. Everything else.
To be fair, Mitch has a nicer Miata than I do. Well, never mind.
Well,
I was gonna say, what? Have you seen my seat recently?
I do like Ryan's better.
When's the last time you've seen my Miata?
It's been a while. The
You
hard top.
You're forgetting.
You're
forgetting how crappy it is.
I feel like you gained a lot of value in that Miata just getting rid of the hard top.
That hard top was fucking trash.
I wish we had videos on that hard top. Yeah, Green GT said
that hard top was straight up just Bondo. Just a Bondo.
It was sketchy, is what it was. Green GT said he felt the same thing when he got his F-150 with a 5-liter. But see, that's the funny thing. You tell me like, oh, I got a Ford truck with the 5-liter. The 5-liter still sounds new to me. I'm like, oh yeah, you got a nice new truck. My grandma's got one actually. Yeah. She just got it might even be an 11 Coyote as well. It's a good little truck. But yeah, so
fair enough.
Speaking of guests on the podcast, I would like to try to have. I'm gonna see if I can talk to Levi and Logan about coming on either next week or the weekend after, and get their experience from owning a shop. Brandon and I heard a lot about it, and I don't want to put words in their mouth, and I don't want to speak for them because the guys have been through a lot, just trying to run a shop and build people's dreams cars, and I would love to set them down. Ryan, so by the way, would you be interested in doing a little bit of like an hour's worth of thought experiments of what you would talk to our guests?
To who?
Any guests. Well, specifically Levi and Logan, like I said, they own the shop. But then also like we got...
They own a performance... what's their background again? They own a performance shop in Ohio. And
yeah, a couple years younger than me.
S2000s.
No.
I already got a question right now.
What?
Why did they ruin 2 S2000s?
Why did they ruin I should probably stop yelling. My son's in bed. Why did you ruin the...
Why would you... It was perfect
from the
stock,
factory.
Bro. Stock.
Do you know how much time and engineers put into that car? And then you went and ruined it? I wish people knew.
I'm going to stand behind that because back then Honda actually engineered fun stuff.
Stop. You and I have been talking all night about how much carryover there is in this shit. Don't tell me they weren't just like,
name
I mean,
Okay, maybe the air vents were carryover, but name another thing on that car you think is carryover.
I'm gonna fight you right now. You know for a fact they were just like, what size exhaust header should we run? Well, we've always run 2-inch headers on our 2-liter dual overhead cams, so we'll just run a 2-inch. And then they run testing, and they're just like, yeah, it works. There's no issues with it. Oh, what kind of cam?
Sports car.
And
yeah, they carried over their molybdenum coated pistons.
Where do you think?
They carried over the whole engine. Didn't they put? They only put that engine in the S2000, didn't they?
That doesn't mean it's not carryover.
Okay, what had that transmission? That was the only rear-wheel drive car Honda had at that time.
That's
carry over my ass.
Honda didn't build that fucking transmission though.
That
transmission
car
came
was
in the
a
S2000?
passion project.
I agree. I do agree. It was a passion project. But Honda didn't build the transmission. What transmission came in the S2000?
Like, who designed the transmission?
He said, so you're mad they improved the S2000? Yeah.
It was probably Ison.
It was probably Ison. You know what Ison probably did? Oh, they want a rear-wheel drive transmission for like some low-power 4-cylinder. Yeah, we've got a couple on the shelf that we can
low-power rear-wheel drive 4-cylinder car.
But Ison,
because they had so many of those.
Not Honda, but Ison was probably. How many rear-wheel drive transmissions has Ison built?
Oh, probably.
Just to be clear, plenty. I'm not trying to diss the S2000. I've driven Jay's S2000. I would own an S2000 if I could afford one over the Miata any day, but I couldn't afford one. They are beautiful cars, and they are amazing. Yeah, they're worth every penny that people are asking for them. I just want to be clear. But if you think there's not a bunch of carryover on it, you're lying straight through your teeth. The diff, for example.
Listen, I know there's carryover on it. Okay. I know there's carryover, but not anywhere near as much as there is on other cars.
Yes. The Honda Civic base model is probably just like, okay, we've got like 6 other 4-cylinders.
The Accord, the CRV, the Civic, those were all carryover. Those were cookie-cutter Lego cars.
Now, there was probably some real thought that went into the S2000. I agree.
Yes, there was.
But I promise you, they were not sitting there, well, oh, boss, we got a new intake manifold design that's going to pick up 30 CFM. No. What they did is they said, we're going to release
I bet they did that.
I'll bet you.
I guarantee you they did that.
I'm going to find a fucking S2000.
It was a performance car, bro.
I don't care if it was a performance car.
That's the best. I'm just going to say, that's the best car Honda's ever made.
This is why I'm saying so confidently that didn't happen. I guarantee you Honda said, we're going to release a really cool sports car. Here's the deadline. You're going to have parts for this deadline at these dates. And if they're not here, you lose your fucking job. Because somebody else will come in here and they'll take it happily. And guess what? Every engineer said, oh, I'm going to build a cool car, but it's got to be done by next October. Oh, my intake manifold's pretty good, but he's right. If I did that, I would have picked up 100 CFM. But I can't get a new intake manifold by October, so maybe for the next real revision I can do it.
We're talking about a car that pushed the limits as far as piston speed. I'm pretty sure there's an article that says the S2000 had the highest piston speed in any mass-produced automotive vehicle until like the 2012 Lamborghini, whatever.
The S2000
you don't
was the
just
most
go
power
design and you don't just go carrying over parts to make that happen.
Yes, I agree. Now listen, I'm not saying they had hard and fast deadlines like my manufacturer had when they were just building another generic. I don't want to give out details because it'll tell where I worked, but diesel engine. Yeah, we've been building diesel engines since the fucking 90s. So, and the architecture is the exact same from the fucking 90s.
And it's a truck, It's.
Is your S2000 making over 1,000 foot-pounds of torque with a factory warranty? Because mine was almost 1,100.
My point is, it's a very different market.
Yes, but
completely opposite.
I still think my point still stands that they may have given a lot more time, but there were still deadlines.
How do we get on this topic again?
Because we said engineers do put a lot of time in, but the people that say the engineers perfected it from the factory the first time, you don't want to go modifying literally anything at all because they're perfect. Everything they do is perfect. I think we've established the engineers aren't perfect. You can buy an intake and pick up some power. Not on the S2000s. I hear the S2000s, yes, the intake is designed very well. And like a shitty cold air intake, you'll lose power, but it's negligible. But my point still stands.
Green GT said the NSX was pretty sweet. Yeah, it was, but it was not an S2000.
The S2000 was just... I've never driven an NSX, but I would love to drive one.
The NSX is like the ultimate like poster car.
If you've never driven an S2000, it really is worth the money.
Or sorry, the NSX is like the ultimate poster car that everyone looks up to because it's expensive and really exotic.
I think
especially for Honda.
I think it was a poster car because it was exotic without being expensive.
True.
You know,
but I want to say they threw the J35 in that thing. The same V6 they had in the minivans.
What about carryover on specific special performance?
Hey, that's different. That's not the S2000.
Oh, that one's different because that one's their only rear-wheel drive.
They built a whole engine for that car, the S2000.
Oh, yeah. I think the F20C is so different from the K series. It's also a 2-liter dual red cam
carryover,
VTEC.
all right.
It's the same idea. It's just a different shape and form. Prices on those.
But they could have just thrown whatever they had in the Civic in that thing.
Why didn't they just put a K series in it?
I wonder that.
Why didn't they just put an
sometimes.
aggressive cam, high revving K series in it? The F20 is super fucking cool. Again, I just want to be clear, but to play devil's advocate, why? The F20C didn't go in anything else? I'm inclined to believe you.
How much is an NSX going for now?
Oh, I don't think you want to look that one up. Oh, it was a 3-liter V6, Ryan.
Okay.
That's what Green GT said. You know what? I think it was a higher revving V6 than the minivan engine. So I'm inclined to believe that they lowered the displacement, run it up a little higher.
The fans were 3.3s, I believe.
The what?
We're looking at it over 100K.
Oh, for an NSX?
179 for it. Well, this is a 700-mile example. Acura NSX 5-speed.
You ready for this, Brandon?
180 grand.
Only 180 grand? That's cheap. Well, I mean, when you have engineer money, we can just go buy those.
Yeah.
Miata.
I got 4 of them in the garage.
Dude, Levi and Logan talked so many times about like people they knew that had like dumb money. They were like, "Holy shit, bro! They were engineers too." And I'm like, "Find out where they fucking work then. Okay, find out where they work and let me know. Let me know if they're hiring."
We're still, I guess we're still at our like early career stage. So.
What are you talking about? I currently make more than I thought I was ever going to make. I thought that I was currently over with the max of what an MET can make. But that's because of inflation. I'd rather buy an 06 Ford GT for that price.
Why?
The Ford GT? The
legit.
I said why.
The 5.4 4-valve? It is pretty sick. The idea of having that 5.4 screaming behind your head with that supercharger, whining away, it does sound pretty sick.
Fair enough.
I would want one.
I would want one as well.
I don't think I would fit in one, but that's beside the point.
Yeah,
But hold on.
That's one you figured out.
Hold on.
Did you think he was talking about a
Give me a
Mustang
second.
GT?
No. Keep talking.
Give him a second,
I gotta look
everybody.
something up.
Everybody stop what you're doing. Give him a second. There's no pressure here, Ryan, but you are holding up the podcast. I mean, Jeremy Clarkson has a few. Yeah, I guess if Jeremy Clarkson can fit one, Brandon, you can too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just watched it the other day, and he was sitting in like the original GT40, and he had like half of his head was out of the car. He's like, I can't even get in this thing.
Oh my
And-
God.
What are you guys doing on August 19th?
Maybe recovering from my first track day or crying that I couldn't afford my first track day. One of the two. I don't know which one yet.
Well, that is the date of the Woodward Dream Cruise, which is apparently a like nationwide event up here. where everybody from all over the U.S. brings their cars and like drives them down this like classic Detroit road.
Oh yeah, driving down the Detroit Road. That's what everybody wanted to do on a Saturday.
Oh, it's a nice road.
The one nice road, Detroit. Detroit.
Yes.
So if I don't run the track day, I'd be down. For sure.
Okay.
Now here's the
It's
thing.
hosted. It's hosted by Ford.
Oh, I better show up in my Nissan. Or I could show up in my Ford Mazda. I got a Ford stamp on my block. The Mazda's got to count as a Ford, right?
There you go. Bring your Fomoco up here.
My Fomoco. I got to get a Fomoco sticker for it then, dude. Yeah, dude, a 5-liter on a lift kit and some tires would be a lot of fun. A 5-liter F-150. Especially with some 4-wheel drive. So that was going to be my question. Do we bring the race cars or do we bring the trail rigs?
Bring the race cars. For the Dream Cruise?
And by race cars, you mean just my shitty Mazda and Brandon's
Hey,
Mustang.
you watch that language.
I just want to be clear. I say race cars. Some kids probably like, oh, wow, this guy's probably got like...
No, you said shitty Mazda.
Oh, okay.
Watch it, buddy.
Dude, we... Maybe armor up a little bit. It is
Come
Detroit.
on.
I don't think licenses carry up to Michigan, do they?
Yours does.
I need to get that fixed then. And then I don't have to
You
armor up.
didn't change your address, did you?
I did. I ordered that thing and it was supposed to ship here and then it never showed up. But thankfully my state
I know it's legal for you.
I just have to get the card because my card didn't never show up. I don't know why.
Sure.
But yeah, I gotta get the card. Yeah, we'll stay strapped.
The cruise, it's hosted by Ford. It's not going to take you through like the hood.
Well, it goes through a 7 mile, and then it goes through like 8 mile just for a second, but you get right through it, dude. It's like Brian.
I'm not gonna lie. There's some pretty rundown areas up here.
Detroit can get rough, but you got to remember every city's like that. I mean, I don't want to be on the east side of Indianapolis at night.
Oh, yeah, no.
Dude, my wife, we used to live really close to the east side. We used to live on a road that was notorious for having some issues, just far enough down that we weren't affected. And my wife would always be like, let's go out to the movies at 10 o'clock at night. And I'm like, are you carrying too? Because I don't think I got enough ammo for both of us. Like, we live in a shitty neighborhood. Oh, Brandon, I got to go down there and try that taco joint. There's a taco joint on the inside of 465, east side of Indianapolis.
Me there.
Yeah, I did. And it's delicious.
I did not feel safe.
Brandon, independent of this conversation, by the way, Brandon has told me that him and his wife both feel that is also one of the better taco joints in Indianapolis.
Yep.
Brandon, I need to compare that to the one here where I live now. What do you think?
It's gonna be better.
It is pretty good.
He's so sure of himself.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Hey, nothing beats El Reparo though, bro.
Oh no! Right, do you see Green GT's comment?
No.
Okay, listen. He said, "I had Green GT. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh at you." He said, "I was in Indy for a little bit for Army training. We were next to Lucas Oil Stadium. Never again." I lived next to Lucas Oil Stadium for 2 years. That would be over in Speedway. Lucas Oil is in Brownsburg, but it's right next to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
No, it's not.
Lucas
Oil Stadium is in Indianapolis, like downtown.
Oh, stadium.
Not Lucas Oil Raceway.
Okay, yeah. If you meant stadium, yeah, that's in the middle of Indianapolis. Yeah, but I used to work there. Still, I was a valet.
Near the stadium's not that bad.
I don't think so. I used to valet at the Omni Severn Hotel, which is right around the corner from Lucas Oil. Hell, I actually work. Never mind. That'll definitely give away things.
I work on these.
You work in a sketchy area.
Me?
I'm not gonna say where your building is behind.
Oh,
but
that doesn't make it a sketchy area, though.
if you love toothless strippers, it's a great place.
There's enough information there to narrow it down.
But yeah, fucking me working on the east side. It's fucking sketchy. I don't want to be there after dark.
Oh yeah, yeah, because you're there. You're
Yeah.
in that area.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you worked over there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm on the east side. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
you know,
Dang.
East side
Ain't
can
it?
get rough, man. I used to.
That's sketchy.
I'm
Yep.
pretty sure, honestly, I don't think East side was really that bad. I think there, because we used to get all the alerts. I'm pretty sure there was a dude that was selling things that you're not supposed to sell, and I think he was like a big guy because there was a bunch of pew pews that would happen in one area. And I'm pretty sure it was related to this one head honcho. I'm trying to censor myself for the stream.
I'm not gonna lie, the area where you used to live, Mitch, like we would drive to like Walmart or something north of there.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty sketchy.
On the east side or the west side? 'Cause I lived
On the
both.
east side.
Yeah.
East side.
But so that Walmart, that's where Jessica would want to go all the time to go watch a movie, and I was like, dude, we're not.
Oh man, yeah, that was
Yeah.
So Mitch, the Walmart over by me now.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
that was a bit rough.
yeah, it's
I don't know if I would say I wouldn't feel safe there, but it's
Yeah. It was enough where if you had to run out somewhere at night, you were like, okay, well, I'll go there. But I didn't go out of my way to go there.
oh yeah, you definitely questioned it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gentlemen, we have been streaming for 3 hours. We've come a long way from
Oh
our
my
first
god, really?
2
Yeah.
hours and 45 minutes.
Well, honestly, like this is the fun thing about it is like sometimes we just hang out on Discord and chat for like hours and hours and hours, and it's
Yeah.
fun to like be part of the show for
It's really fun.
for Green GT.
Yes, Green GT. I hope you enjoyed your single performance. This show was just for you tonight. But hey, I mean, I don't know. I still like it.
Yeah, no, it's great.
He said,
It doesn't matter if people are. It doesn't matter if so many people are viewing, but you know,
Yeah.
it's fun when someone pops in every once in a while.
Hey, I talked about Ghosty TV earlier. Oh, I think he popped out. Ghost, let me know if you're still here. I literally just mentioned Ghosty TV earlier. He literally just popped in. Ghost, if you're still here, let me know. He said, "Sweet, I enjoyed it." But yeah, I appreciate you, Green GT, stopping by.
You are the MVP, Green GT.
Mm-hmm. I gotta be careful. Hey, what's up, Yo Ghost? So Ghost TV, he used to have a Scion. I don't know. I haven't seen him post in a while, but I think he's from the Indianapolis area. But this guy followed me a long time ago, and he was like the OG. Brandon, before you were there, helping push my content out. It was Ghost. I appreciate you, buddy. I literally was just talking about you earlier in the stream. And you're talking about social media earlier. But it's kind of funny that he popped in.
Nice.
But yeah. But yeah, I think for the next stream, I don't know. I feel like I've gotten to a point where I'm comfortable having somebody else on. I think if we're gonna have another guest on, though, I would definitely try to get a 30-minute.
I want to say we should have one thing that I would like is someone. Well, let me just try it. I'm gonna share my screen. Tell me what you can see.
Okay. Yeah.
It won't be anything.
He said he still got the TC. Nice. Am I correct? Are you from the Indianapolis area? Because I feel like I remember you being from the Indianapolis area, but I know there's a guy in a red Honda Civic that's also from the Indianapolis area.
You see my screen?
Oh, I can see myself. Hi, me.
I can see.
Is
you.
it like? Is it?
Oh shit!
It's
Hey,
telling me to watch stream.
Is it too grainy to where it's like just stupid? Or can you
No.
actually see detail?
not when I zoom out. Yo, get this. Green GT said he put a
And,
4-valve 5.4 in his F-150.
There's definitely an echo now because of Mitchell.
Not on
And
my
me.
stream. I got
Okay.
it. I got
Yeah,
it.
on
You're
yours.
good. Are you trying to show us something?
No, I was just seeing how it worked. Like
Oh,
if
yeah.
it was worthwhile.
Hey.
No, there's definitely a bad
Like if
echo.
we wanted to pop up like some internet search to like look something up, could
Yeah.
one of us have a screen open to show the viewers?
Oh, you're saying just make sure it works. Yeah.
Yeah, so they can kind of be a part of what we're looking at.
Yeah. Yeah, Ghost said he is from Indianapolis. Hell yeah, man. I was going to say, I thought I remember him being from Indianapolis. But yeah, I was trying to keep up with a handful of people from Indianapolis. There's a chick that rides motorcycles. And originally when I got on TikTok, I still had my bike. I was like, oh, cool. Another fellow bike creator in Indianapolis. And I know there's them, the Red Civic, and I don't remember his name, unfortunately. And then Sleeping Mechanic is from Indianapolis. There's a handful, actually. But yeah, I think I'm ready to get on. Hopefully, Levi and Logan, if they've got time, I'll have to reach out to them and see what they think. But I think this is enough for me to go and reach out to some people and see if I can get somebody who's run the TAT. And I think while I would like it to be a content creator, I'm gonna be open to somebody who's just done the Trans-American Trail in a 4x4.
Yeah. I would definitely say that's probably that would be beneficial.
But there you go. And hopefully here soon I can use my Engineer Explained name to steal, if I could speak, Engineer Explains Thunder, the YouTube channel. You know, the guy that's got a bunch of followers. So I'm gonna take him down from the inside.
He's got quite a head start on you.
Not too far. Yeah, somebody pointed that out the other day. I was like, well, shit. Chupapi Manyanyo? I don't know who Moist Crevice is, but it's got to be somebody we know. Chupapi? What's that icon?
It's a broken down, beat ass old Chevy truck, short bed.
Who do I know? I don't know anybody with a Chevy short bed. But they said Chupapi Manyanyo?
Got a ton of Call of Duty videos.
I don't know anybody that posts. How do they know us? Oh, it's Pale Horse. I didn't realize he changed his name. So Pale Horse, I'm not too familiar, but he does have an LS swapped, maybe turbo Chevy short bed. Dude, this dude is throwing down in his videos all the time. It's hilarious. It will give you the gap. I've seen some of his videos. This truck goes
looks
fast.
like it. Hey, the shittier the car looks, the faster it usually is.
I was gonna say I was looking for the Pale Horse OBS name. All right, so give us the rundown on the short bed. That is a good rule of thumb.
Dude, I'm serious. Like,
yeah, especially when it comes to trucks.
You've seen Farm Truck, that truck that's like.
Well, Farm Truck that doesn't count.
Well, yeah, but
that's a fully built.
That's a built race car.
Yeah.
With sheep's clothing on.
5.3 S480 sleeper. I'd say it's a hell of a sleeper. It probably moves out. Hey, Andy Miata, Brandon. This is Andy Miata, isn't it? Andy Miata. His name is Javi.
Miata.
He runs autocross at our local region.
I follow him as well.
Yeah, he's got a couple of sick Miata. Well, he used to run autocross. He's gotten into wheel racing recently.
Oh, he's got a
spec Miata car. Yeah, and a couple karts.
He has a turbo Miata.
Yes, Turbo K
NB.
Series. Turbo K Series. Yeah, he wouldn't be fucking around with that gross stock NB motor like some peasants be doing. Ryan.
The stock NB motor for now.
Stock NB. Oh, man. What, do you got like a VR38 lined up for it?
No comment.
Look at this. We talked about going offline. Now all of a sudden the stream's popping off. We can't leave. We got to give the people what they want.
Did we talk about going offline?
No, I guess we didn't. All right. I know you guys are here for the AI Live. So we will now commence with the AI Live. Okay, I'm not going to be doing the AI Live. TH400 the trans brake. Dude, I need to ride in a car that gets up on a trans brake. I need like a full boosted launch, thrown back in the seat. Hull EFI, 210s. Dang, son. Am I correct in thinking the short bed's boosted? Oh, you said S480. Sorry, I'm speaking out of my element here. This is all a somewhat foreign language to me. Your boy doesn't know that much about these builds. I've blown 2 1/8. I'm not trying to do it again.
do.
Ryan, what do you
Oh,
have to say
nice.
for yourself?
I
So
mean,
for those of you who don't know, Ryan has currently a Mazda Speed NB on a Megasquirt ECU.
yep, MS3 Pro. It's still on a base map. I gotta buy a O2 wideband to get it tuned.
Have you tried?
But it's got a ton of mods. It's got a flying Miata intake kit and larger intercooler
bro.
kit. It's set up, bro.
It's got a cold air intake on it?
PC. Yeah, makes
Shit,
400
dude,
more
you
horsepower
should
just
start
with the
that.
intake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's my question. You guys don't know, but he had a bigger turbo, Mazda Speed 3, ethanol, full custom intake manifold, a handful of fancy goodies, full bolt on, the works.
I had a fully modded out
Mazda Speed 3.
Mazda Speed 3.
You were like one step
Big
away
turbo.
from going full retard with a Mazda Speed 3.
I
Can I say that?
yeah.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say the R word anymore.
Well, you just said it, so it's too late.
Anyway, go on. But that car was sick.
When I sold it, it had everything on it. It had a 2871R turbo on it, big intercooler, upgraded fuel pump internals. I mean, I threw the parts catalog at this thing.
But did it have a cold air intake on it?
It did.
The correct response there was the coldest air intake.
I actually had a freezer piped in to the air intake. That's how fucking cold it was.
But anyway, so you talked about tuning the Mazda Speed yourself. Your first Mazda Speed.
And I did. I took the tuning class from Cobb.
Oh,
I have the
I didn't know you
license
did that.
for Access Port. Yeah, I have the license to tune.
You talked
through
about it,
Access
but I
Port.
didn't know you did it.
No, I did it. It was like $150. I took the class. I was fully planning on tuning the car myself, but I slowly realized I would probably be spending a lot of money on a replacement motor.
Yeah.
Tuning it myself with no experience.
Javi said he only does hot air intakes like a man. See,
and
Javi
I
and
had
the right idea.
I pretty much had a motor sitting in the closet with forged internals ready to be put together. It was all the machining was done. It was ready to go. But I just...
Life hit.
Yeah. For sure.
You had some things going on.
Yep.
So, is that why we're not tuning the Mazda Speed Miata? The MSM?
No.
Why aren't
it would actually be easier to tune the MSM. From what I've seen.
Why aren't we tuning the MS3 MSM? I'm just gonna keep throwing.
Because I have to buy a $300 wideband.
You make engineer money.
Yeah. I thought $300 was
God
like
damn
a
it. Yeah.
petty donation to you.
Fair enough.
Well, Pale OBS. I can't. I'm so used to Pale OBS. He said it's not that bad. I tuned my truck starting with no experience. Makes around 650 on 93. That's pretty impressive.
I mean, yeah, if you're, you know, I was just worried. I was, you know, I had, by the time I would have been done with that motor and trans, I would have had 7K in it. And for something to go wrong during the tuning process, and I mean, you know those cars, Mitch, they were early at direct injection turbo, so they had their kind of quirks, and the tuning process, you had things that you couldn't really control.
Yeah.
So starting with a completely, like, from the ground up standalone ECM, that is the way to go.
Green GT said the engineers are over here trying to act like us commoners on live. It's funny because I was about to comment and say, I don't want to speak for you, but from what you described, it sounded like all the money you had at that time was sitting in the form of a disassembled motor in your closet.
Not all the money, but a significant portion of the money I have.
But that would have been because you were an engineer, right? It's like you always had money.
Yeah, I just had the closet had the engine in it, but it was also stacked with $100 bills all the way up.
They were just back order for new short blocks. So you were just like,
exactly. Yep.
Just better just keep his money off the side.
Had to move on. Had to go make more money.
Oh man, I wish, you know, if I actually made the amount of money people thought I made, it'd be so nice.
Why I don't know why people think engineers make so much money.
It's funny because we're not even like the fancy engineers. We're METs. We're the engineers that the engineers laugh at. Yeah.
Say it with me. We are ME.
Engineer to wait for money to grow on trees. Why haven't we done that, bro? Engineer a tree to grow money. But
maybe you should be an engineer, Green GT.
That was. Oh wait.
I like that idea.
Pale said, "Slide some of that engineer money this way. Daddy needs a sponsorship." I'm the one that needs a sponsorship. I could barely afford my track pads for the Miata. That's why I haven't signed up for the track day yet. I was all about to sign up for the track day. I was like, dude, we're just gonna do it. Track pads, got them. Let's sign up for the track day. Let's rent that trailer. Let's do it. Oh, I also have to pay my registration. Oh, I forgot that was coming up. It's the only downside to owning multiple vehicles. I say multiple like I own 6, Brandon.
Hey.
Brandon, what's it like registering your
Absolutely.
30 million vehicles?
Oh, it's fucking expensive.
What's Brandon, how many... Give us a rundown. How many vehicles do you own?
Wow. So, got the Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
Got the S10. Got the Jeep. And then I got the Mustang.
Okay, that's not too crazy.
But keep in mind, not long ago he had a C10. That was his project. There was another project that you just got rid of, didn't it?
Dude, I've had so many projects since I've.
Well, he's got 2 different motors, by the way, for the G body.
Yep.
Not 1, 2. He's got the 6-liter and the 5.3 or the 4.8. 5.3.
5.3.
I think at the worst, the most vehicles I've ever owned at one time.
Yeah.
I owned that Buick Regal GS with the supercharger.
Well, yeah.
I owned, yeah, it was so fast, bro. I owned the Jetta, the Speed 3, and my Nighthawk at the same time. That's the most vehicles I've owned at the same time.
That's a good list, though. By the way, Logan, thank you for liking the stream. Logan's in here, by the way. I was just talking about getting Logan and Levi on the stream podcast here soon. Bro? But yeah,
how you doing?
I felt big balling because I had a 1990s Ducati that I bought in awful condition that didn't run. I had the Cobalt that needed a transmission that I couldn't afford, and then I had a $2,000 Ford Escape that was misfiring at idle. And I was like, dude, this is it. Like, I got so much money. I got 3 vehicles. And people have got to be jealous of my barely running vehicles. All speed 3. Okay, Logan, I thought we were friends. You got to go talk.
Okay, I'm just going to call you out. This is coming from someone who ruined an NS2000.
No, right. Logan's got the Mark IV Supra. Levi's the one that's got the supercharged badass S2000. You could say he's ruined it, but you go for a ride in the car, and I think you'll change your mind.
I'm just poking at him.
I know you're just poking at him, but yeah, he's got the Mark IV, which those make, I think if I remember correctly, they make like 3,000 horsepower from the factory on the stock block and stock internal. So you might want to be careful. You're talking smack too.
It's a Mark IV.
It's a Mark IV Supra. Dude, listen,
Supra?
Mark IV Supra.
Right-hand drive as well.
Right-hand drive, Mark IV Supra. This guy's like, yeah, you can drive stick, right? You want to drive it? It's like, that's very gracious of you. I can't buy this car. Tell me you drove it. No, I did not drive it.
Tell me, you little...
Ryan, I would have had to sell the Miata, the Xterra, and maybe the wife's car to replace it.
Well, don't do something dumb in it. The man offered to let you drive it. Come on.
It was telling enough that he was nice enough to let me to offer. That was all I needed to hear. Yes, I also hate increasing horsepower on my sports cars. Is that a joke though? Stock Mark IV Supras. I think you missed a decimal. Oh. Stock Mark IV Supras are actually 1.3 second quarter mile cars, not 13 second.
Yeah.
You just blink and they run the quarter mile.
Dying, bro.
But Yeah. Logan
Okay,
also
so
Logan also had the HHRSS, by the way, which is why he's talking smack to the Speed 3, which is reasonable because the LNF is far better than the Dizzy any day of the week. We're just gonna ignore the fact that he's got a blown up LNF, and we're just gonna ignore the fact that I blew up a diff in my.
how's this trans?
I blew up the trans.
How's this transmission doing?
It wasn't a trans. It threw a rod out the block. It threw a rod out the bottom of the oil pan.
I'm just gonna pretend Speed 3's had 0 issues.
Oh, hang on. We got beef going down. So Pale Horse OBS is notorious for talking smack. Listen, you think I talk smack? Pale Horse talks it too. But, you know, he's got a badass truck that, like...
He can back it up.
Yeah, he can back it up. We got...
Okay. All right.
Logan, what was the 10-second car? I think it was a joke. He said F-35 is chilling. F-35 is the trans in the LNF. Yeah, his F-35 may have been chilling. Mine wasn't. But then again, I was dumb enough to be building, 23 PSI at 2,600 RPM because it sounded cool. That was just driver error on my part, to be honest. He said the Supra is 10-second car in A. Interesting. Wait.
10-second car in a Supra.
Okay. Pale Horse said it's a 13-second car. And then Logan said it's a 10-second car. I will say this. Logan and Levi's got some badass drag cars. I don't know anything about the stock Supras. All right, Pale Horse, I don't know where you're at, but we're all going to have to meet in Ohio. I'll bring the GoPros. We got some filming to do. And I just want to ride in the truck and the Supra now. That's all I'm here for.
I don't know if I can forgive you for denying to drive a Supra.
Why don't you look up how much a right-hand drive Supra is?
I don't care.
That's why.
Yeah, it's...
Oh, he said... Okay. Yeah. But it was a very... Well, also, like, you got to remember, like, when I say I knew these guys, we talked in, like, one DM on TikTok one time. And then I DM'd them once on Instagram, and then we just hung out for a couple hours, and it was like, cool. They're super cool guys, though.
He probably evaluated you enough as a person to be like, okay, I'll offer to let this guy drive my car.
What evaluation? They were talking circle. These guys were going on about the stuff that they've been building. I was like, I'm trying to comprehend. I am. But they've got some really cool stuff. I'm serious. I think having these guys on the podcast and just picking their brain would be a lot of fun. I think you guys, Ryan, you and them two, as Brandon, I think you guys as well, would have a lot to talk about. And I would just be on the sidelines taking notes. Yeah. I think it would be a lot of fun.
Do they make a Mega Squirt for the NC?
I believe so. Because I remember
Why don't you just tune your car, bro?
How much is a Mega Squirt? Like plug and play for the NCs?
I mean, doesn't matter.
You make the engineer money.
Yeah, you make that engineer money.
I was trying to pretend to be one of you guys again.
Why do you forget this?
So there is a tuner that you can get, and you can just flash tune the factory ECM, and it's enough to bump up your rev limiter. It's enough to play with some fuel trims, and I believe it's enough to do a factory ECM launch control, which is the higher. I'm forgetting words now. The higher rev limiter and then the factory launch control are the two things that I'm interested in for autocross. Because, first of all, the longer RPMs would be nice because I keep running out of RPM on track. I've got the 6-speed Miata, and it's got really tight ratios. And I have the NC1, which has a lower rev limiter than the NC2 and 3. And then also just a factory a launch control would be nice because I could get the same launch. I am starting to run into an issue where I will complete a run and be like, why did I lose time? That felt good. And then I watch it back and the car falls on its face from the launch because I didn't give it the beans. Like, well, Logan and Levi, when they went with us to the Western Ohio event, dude, I was like, I'm not having this issue today. We're running it. I was revving that thing out to like $5,000, $5,500 before I launched it. But I don't want to have to do that every time if I don't have to. And also, I was burning the tires off the car. Logan's got the right idea. He said he bought it. That's really the cheapest Supra you can buy. The thing looks clean. He did say it's been repainted, but it looks great. If that's true, you got a really good gig on that car. Was it a clean title? That might be why it was cheap. Is it a clean title? I don't think there's any shame in buying a salvage title car. Like, hell, Ryan's Miata is a salvage title car, and it's a good car.
Hey, it's a rebuilt title.
Rebuilt title. You get what I'm saying, though.
Yeah. What did he say the Supra cost him? He has this. Is he saying he bought it under 10,000?
No, he's saying he has the cheapest. He says he has the cheapest Supra you can buy. Any Supras are a lot cheaper.
I'm gonna doubt that.
That's fair.
I'm gonna doubt that.
Clean title. Now, see, that's a brag. You got a clean title Mark IV. No. Green GT says, well, it's off to the bank to make a withdrawal.
Just tell us what you paid, bro.
Oh, you're putting the man on the spot. No. Don't tell me. You got to save it for the podcast. He's just saying. He said, "I'm just saying it's the cheapest option."
Right.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I see.
I was gonna say, if you did like what I did with the Miata, where it's like the cheapest one on Marketplace, well, they've seen my Miata.
I thought he was saying he got a fucking deal on it. Like,
no,
stupid.
Yeah, I need to do a video on like all the issues with my Miata being the cheapest one on Marketplace. It's interesting.
I think my Mazda Speed Miata is the cheapest Mazda Speed you can buy right now.
There you go.
Which is why I'm shocked not selling.
If somebody wants to be, yo, Ghost.
Because of the rebuilt title.
Ghost, I am so sorry I missed your donations. I very much appreciate it, my guy. I think he's already out of here. I'll have to send him a message after this. Ghost, thank you very much, buddy. I need to be better about being a live streamer.
Yeah.
He sent us a donut and a rose. I think a rose is a pretty big deal, too. And then a bunch of TikToks. I'll be honest, I don't know what any of this means yet. But I know somebody gave me a donation last event, too. And that was worth 7 cents. So
I'm assuming you said Washington. Yeah, cars up there are kind of the same as the Midwest.
Yeah, he said Washington.
Yep.
Yeah, he's in it with us. Pale Horse, you're in the Rust Belt as well, aren't you? Because I've seen some of your content. It looks like you're somewhere in the Midwest, if I'm guessing based on the environment around you. Let's see what he says. But yeah, if you're in the Midwest, or if you're in the Rust Belt in general, you know how this goes.
Well, and this has been kind of a hard,
Missouri. Pretty close.
That's Midwest.
Yeah. I think that's the Rust Belt too.
Yep. Yeah. The hardest part of selling this Miata is so just to give you some history, this car spent its entire life in Arkansas, the southern U.S. And when I bought it, it had been in Indianapolis for 6 months. I am quite sure that I have the most rust-free Miata in Michigan, but nobody believes me. I even have pictures, and they're like, "Yeah, but let me see this part of it."
Well, I didn't believe my Miata was clean until I got home and had it up in the air. Even after I asked the guy for pictures.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
Nobody claimed it was rust-free.
But that's why it's hard to sell.
It was 8 owners too. So,
holy shit.
I'm gonna keep calling him Pale Horse because I'm so used to the Pale Horse name. I don't know when you changed the name, by the way. I must have missed that. But he said his cab corners definitely say it's Rust Belt. Typical old Chevy. I'm allowed to say that. I've had enough Chevys. What is it? I don't know what it is about America. I was gonna say it's American cars, but
bro, Green GT is in Washington State. Pretty far away.
Green GT, we're gonna have to come visit in 2025 at the end of our Trans-American Trail trip. We'll be running. Oh, we're running to Oregon.
That's close enough.
It's pretty
he
close.
can meet us there if he wants to.
I'm curious, Green GT. Now, by the way, you mentioned you had the 4-valve 5.4. What's the plan with this? Or was it just like I had a 4-valve, I put a 4-valve in it? Call me Pale Horse. I changed it because of some nonsense that went down with some buddies. But it's getting changed back. Moist Crevice. I mean, I also like the Moist Crevice name, especially now that I've said it out loud.
Sounds like he lost a dare.
It does sound like he's lost a dare. Please tell me there were spicy cokes involved. Speaking of spicy cokes. Yeah, by the way, I definitely have to have a couple spicy cokes at 5 o'clock before we do this again. This is way more fun. I feel bad. I've been totally neglecting the YouTube chat. We had one comment that was a dab emoji. So,
Oh shit.
Green GT said he blew up the 462 valve that it came with, and he had a 5-bore sitting around. I'm curious, where did you get the 4-valve from? Oh, Navigator then, probably? Wait a second. How do you blow up a 4.6? Those things were pretty good motors, from what I've heard. He's got a Boss 302 intake as well. Some girl in the Buddies Live was talking about how she got sand in her crevice and it was sweaty. I was going to say, might I suggest sandy crevice? That just sounds irritating, though. That is pretty good. Yep, came out of a Navigator.
Nice.
You know, I grew up a GM fan. Ford has always had decent motors. You know, just to be clear, that's not saying they're without fault. But the 4.6 was a good motor. The 3.8 that came in the Mustangs and the Windstar was a good motor. The 2-liter Duratex weren't always great, but they still run for a long time. The 3-valve Duratec ran forever. I don't know how the 4 liters are, but I've never heard anybody complain. But then again, I don't think anybody's ever messed with the 4 liters. Then the 5-liter, obviously, the Typhoon and the Mustangs had a cult following for a little while. All their EcoBoosts are pretty decent. Levi found a kitten under his S2000's hood yesterday. Okay. All right, everybody, we need to come up with a name
What's
for this
his name?
cat. We got to come
What's
up
his
with
name?
We got to start looking up Honda executive names. Honda executive. Logan, does he have a name for the cat yet? Because if not,
Nope. Hold on.
It doesn't have a name, actually. Don't answer
I'm
that.
naming it.
To be fair, you did name my cat Athena. Yeah, it's a pretty good name.
I did, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. He named it S. No, he didn't name it
No.
S. It's getting a new name.
He named it what? S. He named it S?
Yeah. I gotta stop yelling.
Shigeru was the lead engineer for the S2000 project.
Bro, it's a match. That cat's name has gotta be Shigeru.
S. Shigeru.
Oh, he said the 4-liter Rangers were trash. Okay. I just knew the 4 liters also came in the V6 Mustangs, and I was like, well, I've never heard of him messing with them, but I didn't know the Rangers were trash. But still, there was a handful of decent motors. I'm not saying they were good, but they all ran for a long time. Like I said, the 3.8, the 3-liter, the 2 liters. Oh. He said it might have been the 4 liters that had the dual timing chains in the back of the engine. That's what I need to do an Engineer Explains on. Timing chains at the back of the engine.
Well, no. So on the 4-liter, they had one on the front of the engine and one on the back.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like one chain would run one side and the rear chain would run the other.
That's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard of. Are you kidding me?
Nope.
Listen, if you guys ever get a video of one of those, let me know and tag me in it. You know I got to do an Engineer Explains for that. Oh my gosh. Engineers, I know. You can't trust them as far as you can throw them.
We're like Our judgment is clouded by all the money we make. I know.
Listen, if Brandon wasn't in here to be our like resident mechanic, everybody would hate us right now.
Brandon, you're the only thing stopping us from getting annihilated.
Yeah,
Well,
you're.
see, you guys are just assuming that I don't hate you right now.
You know what they say about assuming things, right? It makes an ass out of you and me.
Yeah.
Brandon's actually just in here. He's waiting to take us down from the inside.
Yep. I'm just sitting here collecting my data, and
See,
he's getting intel.
He's actually been getting underneath the Miata every single time we go race, and he's just loosening a random bolt. This
like,
dumbass engineer will never figure out what broke this time. Here's the problem. Go ahead.
I'd say you wonder how your rear shocks got so many clicks out last event.
Oh, that explains it. See, here's the thing you haven't thought about. I'm gonna have to call you to come help me fix it because you know I can't fix it on my own.
Yeah, but then it just proves my point that you need a mechanic to fix it.
Yeah, but I can't admit it. That's the problem. If I admit it, they win.
Yeah, but you're admitting it to me though.
You don't have proof of that.
I'm bringing my GoPro next time.
Thanks for the starter under the intake manifold on the Q50. Y'all, listen.
Hey, again, call Japan and not us.
No, listen.
Call
Y'all
Japan.
mechanics need to get together and decide what you want, because for every person that hates starters under the intake manifolds, I've got 30 comments that say, no, it's a good location. It's not rusty. It's easy to get to, and it's good book money or whatever. So, you know what? Fine. You guys don't know where you want it? I know where I want it. In the bell housing. All the starters, from now on, in the bell housing. And the oil filters, in the bell housing. So, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Yeah, you know what? No, Brandon, you're guilty by association. You're the one hanging out with a bunch of engineers.
Well,
You're encouraging us. You're enabling me by fixing my car and helping me get to work.
it is pretty funny though that it's like, out of all my friends, you guys are the people I'm closest with,
Yeah.
and all of you guys are engineers. You, Luke, and Ryan.
Now,
all
Luke's
engineers.
Luke's not an engineer anymore. He's a real estate agent.
No,
it's funny because nobody else knows how funny that is. Oh, we have a friend that's an engineer, and he quit his job because he didn't want to work for anybody. And
you know what?
The poor guy's trying to make ends
More
meet.
power to him. I hope you can make a lot of money as a real estate agent, but
Logan says, I'm done doing maintenance on shit. Let's just put the starter in the oil pan. I like that idea. Let's just do it.
Hey, I brought up earlier, let's just put it in the exhaust, like in the exhaust pipe.
Let's just put it.
That's where I'm putting it.
In the cylinder number 4 exhaust runner. Green GT said, just give us pull starters again.
get the old crank tools out.
starters.
Yeah, I was going to say, everybody knows the hand crank was the best starter. The oil will cool the starter. Now, see, Logan, this is the kind of shit that I'll post on the internet, and then a bunch of people go in my comments and be like, that's not how that works. And I'll be like, I know. I made that up 30 seconds before I hit record. Where is the starter on the 4.6? He says he's fine with the location of the starter on the 4.6.
On the, Ford 4.6?
Yeah.
If you're sitting in it,
is there?
well, but, so it's on the right-hand side down beneath the exhaust manifold.
Oh. So where the oil filter should have gone?
Oil filter is on the driver's side front, which is actually in a pretty good place.
Oh.
Gives us a Briggs and Stratton. I'm down for that.
Give us a Briggs and Stratton. So what you want is a pull start a 5 horsepower Briggs and Stratton single cylinder to turn the crank on your V8.
He wants a gas pull start motor or lawnmower engine to start his car.
Listen, say what you want. I'm just gonna say, the little Braggs and Stratton in my Walmart lawnmower, pretty solid little motor. Briggs and Stratton would give me more horsepower. This has gone
Briggs is
off
where
the
it's
rails
at.
in such a positive way. I love it. So, the location of the oil filter then. Like, are you guys good with oil filters in the bell housing then? Because I've already got that email typed up passive aggressively, and I'm ready to hit send. So I just want to make sure that's a good location.
Yeah, the amount you guys complain about oil filters, I'm gonna say they should just be on the steering wheel.
You know what?
Like
Actually,
right in front of your face.
you're not getting oil filters anymore. I'm just done with it.
Yep. Yeah. Actually, yep. Same.
Figure it out. Just give them like a little mesh screen. Green GT said, "I'm fine with that. Oil filters in the bell housing."
Tell them to go to the dealership.
What's the
Oil filter in the air filter. I like that. Kill two birds with one stone.
But here's the problem: as soon as you tell somebody they need an air filter too, they're gonna be like, no, I don't. Why do I need an air filter?"
But then you say it's also your oil filter, and they're like, "Oh, okay."
I've already done this. I said the Chevy Trailblazer 4-wheel drive, the one that has the drive shaft through the oil pan, the pass through the oil pan. I said I did that for you guys, so you guys could change both the drive shaft and the oil pan at the same time. And everybody said, no, that's a dumb design.
Actually, I'm going with Logan's recommendation that the oil filter be Bluetooth.
Man, these oil filters they always look pristine.
Is next gen, bro.
They always come loose. Like
They would always come loose. Just stick them in the trunk.
Carry it in your pocket.
If we're gonna make it Bluetooth, though, we need to put it in an awful location, like standing up vertically in the very center of the trunk. So whenever you
you just carry your oil filter in your pocket. Everywhere you go, it's with you.
It's on the keychain.
Yeah.
So you gotta clip it to your
Bluetooth.
belt.
Yep.
Oh man. Levi.
Everything on cars should be Bluetooth.
Logan, we're gonna have to reach out to you guys about getting you guys on the podcast here soon. I think we're ready for our first test run with a guest, and I feel like you guys are the perfect ones. I can't wait for others to try to access the oil filter with their phone. That's about where we're heading.
I just hacked into it, bro. I'm hacking in.
That stuff's getting crazy now.
I'm stealing your filtration wirelessly.
Filtration. How long until we start having like sensors inside of filters where it's just like, oh, here's your parts per million of copper, whatever the junk.
Well, I tell you what, these mechanics are gonna have a hell of a time when AI starts designing all this shit.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. What can be worse than me? I got my degree with Czech, so I'm a Czech engineer. Logan said they have a full... Almost. You were close. Logan said they're doing a full turbo kit on a Celica. Like, what Celica? Like the action package body front wheel drive Celica, or the old Celica Supra stuff? I'd love to hear about this.
This brings up something while we're waiting for his response. Somebody at my job in the parking garage has a Celica GT4 right-hand drive.
oh,
Daily drives it.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Is it a Bluetooth turbo? It's a kind of turbo. Yeah, there's a guy at my work at the location I normally sit at now. He's got a right-hand drive MR2, white one, kind of like what's the generation after Luke had, but not like the goofy looking one. Second gen, I think.
SW something.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's a beautiful car. I always park the Miata like one step away from it. That I'm just like, nice car, bro. Here's my really shitty Mazda. Oh, says the GT4.
It's
It's his dream car.
SW20.
I'm curious, where did the V6 Tacoma come from? Green GT. The V6, the Tacomas are nice trucks, though. I'm personally impartial
Yeah, the
to
GT4 looks so good in person. Honestly, one of the coolest looking cars. It's like a mini Supra.
Yeah.
Of course, Logan would like it. He's got a Supra.
The mini Supra. I guess yeah, it's a good way.
It is. It's got a big ass wing on it too.
must have been filtered. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know where to go about the Tacomas. The Tacomas and 4Runners, they're all sick. It's just.
What's the chat about the Tacoma? I a V6 Tacoma.
I missed it.
Why?
Oh, I think they've got a really weird filter location. Logan said that the GT4 are turbo all-wheel drive.
Yep. The Supers are not. The GT4 was actually designed to be a rally car.
Right.
Not the Supra.
Was that the what's the class that got canceled? Blah blah blah. I can't think of the name.
Group B?
Group B, thank you.
I don't think it was Group B.
Okay. I really want to follow Rally. Rally doesn't make it easy to follow though.
It's not as mainstream anymore.
Yeah, there's no like, hey guys, come here, watch us on this website. I don't know where to watch Rally. There's so many restrictions.
Mostly, I'll tell you why. The same reason MotoGP is kind of hard to follow. It's all European. Nobody rallies in the U.S. really. Like, there's no serious I mean, I'm not gonna say that. There's probably some organizations in the U.S. that take themselves pretty seriously, but like the deep-rooted rally racing is probably mostly in the European side of the world.
Dude, Logan's already planning on buying a GT4. He said next.
Hell yeah, man. Hey, if you offer to let me drive the thing, I'm definitely gonna drive it.
We should have had you go hang out with us. Oh right, you don't run autocross because you're a pansy, or you're just slow. One of the two.
Okay.
Are you ready to make a bet?
Do I need to bring out my Miata's turbo, and yours lack of turbo?
Do you want to make a bet?
What's the bet?
I'm not betting that
I'm gonna get a faster time than you in autocross.
I'm not betting that I'll beat you at autocross, because
I'm not saying I would win.
Yeah, you've never run autocross.
I haven't been serious. I've never done like serious autocross events.
I was hoping you would get that like chip on your shoulder like we get sometimes, and you'd be like, nah, I don't know, dude. And I was gonna be like, I bet I'd beat you by 2 seconds. But clearly you're being too humble for me to make this bet. Okay, never mind. We just got to make a bet on track day.
The idea is like I just act all humble now, and then I like go full try hard in the background until the autocross event.
You just hit up Jay like, Jay,
give me the crash course right now, dude.
I have 1 week.
My life depends on beating this guy in NC.
Logan did say we can fix my lack of turbo very quickly. That we can, Logan. The problem is I'd have to pay you for your work, because I obviously I'd want to do that.
Well,
and turns out the whole like rich engineer thing is a myth.
You got that engineer money, so just like let it flow out, bro.
Ow!
Let it flow.
I'll just write him a blank check. I'll just do that. I've done that a handful of times. It's fine.
Yeah.
Just fill it out, bro. But there was, so when I got to work with Max Peating rods on the radio, part of me was like, dude, they got $200 turbos. They sent me a $200 radio.
What?
I wondered if they'd send me a $200 turbo, but then I was like,
what kind of deep China shit is that?
They've got like $300 turbos. I don't know if it's quite $200, but yeah, it's rough. But I was like, even if they sent it out, I don't know if they would, but even if they did, I was like, man, I don't know if I want to put that on the Miata.
You said blank check and the Miata's getting the K series.
I think if I wrote a blank check,
are you
I'd
going
get a
to argue this?
Yeah, we just got to talk. You've got room for 1-0. Can we make that work? I'll give you one blank check. You can write any number and then 1-0 behind it.
Logan, just leave the chat.
Ooh.
I mean, really, Mitch, like you said, any number, so it could be like 10,000 with an extra zero.
No. Listen. When there's enough money in my bank account to write 2 zeros, I'll hit you up. But I think we're gonna need more like 3 zeros.
Moist Crevice had a $170 Amazon GT45 for over a year.
What?
What happened after the year? That's what I want to
So
know.
here's my question: did it like chew up the propellers and start dumping
Are
metal
you
in the
still
motor?
driving it?
He said we could work with 10K. I'm sure we could, but the problem is 10K would buy my Miata almost twofold.
Hey, Logan, can you do a
Ran.
dyno tune
Ooh,
on a Miata with a Mega Squirt?
remember the Miata we did with the max speeding rod turbo, the green one at our shop? Don't do it. Whoa, I didn't know you guys did a max speeding rods turbo on a Miata, bro. So obviously I did not try to reach out to them for a turbo. I was too afraid to consider it.
He said, "Don't do it."
Yeah, I know, but now I need to know. This is like an amazing story for the podcast, I think, but you need to give me the rundown because now I'm curious. But Moise Crevice said he sold that truck to a buddy, so it sounded like it ran. Bottom 11s in a 4,000 pound
Verdict's out on
truck.
if it's still running.
Oh wait, I was gonna say 4,000 pound truck. That's heavy, but that's still 500 pounds lighter than a Challenger automatic. I only know one shop that touches Mega Squirt.
Fair enough.
I've heard that for every dude that's got Mega Squirt. I also hear that some people don't really mess with
I think
it.
it's meant to more be like a homebrew kind of deal.
I think so too. I think that's kind of what I picked up.
Because I was asking around up here before I decided to sell the Miata. I was like, does anybody know how to tune? And they're like, no.
Yeah, and I've never heard of the thing they're using to flash tune the NCs. But it sounds like,
Oh, really?
yeah, I need to look it up again. But my understanding is it's an adapter for the PC, and then you have a license for the software, and then you can just flash tune the factory ECM. Max speeding rods is who I got the GT45 from. It was meant. Oh, they're gonna go back at it. All right, everybody, get out your popcorn. But no. See the hit or miss on their on the turbo thing.
It's quality control, man.
Yeah,
It's got to be.
that's what it seems like
Got
it is
to be
with.
quality control.
Yeah, it seems like that's what it is with all the eBay stuff. I mean, look at the Boosted Boys. They were the king of eBay turbos for the longest time. And for every turbo they had that lasted 6 years, they'd have 3 that lasted a year. But it was like they were just like, well, this one lasts another year. It's cheap, so why not?
Yep.
Because they had the twin turbo K series MR2. Was that eBay or name brand turbo? I don't remember. Brandon, did you watch them?
No.
Logan said he doesn't mess with it all now. Yeah, honestly, I think
Fair enough. I mean,
I think if I was going
Turbo's
to
that
boost the
cheap,
Miata, I don't think
just
I'd be
leave it
playing that
alone.
game. Yeah.
turbo's that cheap, unless it's like a literal, like, just a stupid project you don't care about hardly at all. Just
That-
buy a decent turbo.
That's the goal. That's the goal. Is like somehow get successful enough where I can like fund some like shitbox manual V8 Mustang that's like got like a salvage title, and then just do eBay turbo custom cut knuckle angle
Yeah, like
kit.
a wreck,
Yeah,
just
that'd be
something
so
to
much
jump
fun.
over a hill in the backyard.
I'm curious, Moist Crevice, how much power did you pick? Well, it looks like you went to a different size turbo, but how much power do you think you'd pick up just by going to a name brand turbo, having quality bearings and such?
Hey, Mitch,
Yeah.
I do have a 2.5 liter Iron Duke with a rod knock. We could probably put a cheap turbo on
What are we gonna put an Iron Duke in?
the S10.
Oh,
It's got a rod knock. Did I not tell you
What?
the motor I put in the S10's got a rod knock?
Well, yeah, but I thought you somehow repaired that and put it in the S10. I thought that's how you got it running so quick. You got a different motor.
Yeah, I bought a motor, and then I had to replace the cylinder head, and then got it running and found out the motor had a rod knock.
Do you want me to reach out to Max Speeding Rods and see if I get you a turbo for it?
That'd be hilarious.
Listen, if I get you a turbo, they're going to give us a deadline for when we need to have content out. If I get you a turbo, are we putting a... But here's the
I
other
don't know
question.
how we can tune it though, to even be able to make power out with it.
Aren't there ways to mess... Oh, okay, Iron Duke, it's fuel injection, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Is it multi-point fuel injection or is it like throttle body injection?
Throttle body.
I'm speaking out of my comfort zone here, by the way. So this might all be wrong. So please don't quote me on this, guys. But aren't there crazy ways to play with fuel pressure regulators in order to get them to boost or bump up fuel output to go with boost?
Possibly.
Anything with
I know there's
non-direct injection, yes.
because I know there's ways of. I know that there's boost reference pressure regulators, right, on boosted applications, but this is a non-boosted car from the factory, so it's not going to have that boost reference. So, is there a way that you can trick the fuel pressure regulator?
I'm pretty sure on these trucks, I'm pretty sure it's a deadhead system.
Oh,
It is.
guys, hey guys, we're done. Actually, Plan B came in here and he said, "Max beating rods turbo." He's laughing at us. We got to get something good. He's right, guys. What are we even doing here?
I trust ECS tuning before max tuning rods. And that says a lot. Nice burn.
I can't access Plan B's account. So
I like
can't-
how we're also all, well, Mitch and I at least, former Volkswagen bros.
I'll never be a Volkswagen bro again in my life. I just want you to know that.
I figured you wouldn't be.
Logan's got an affiliate link for the turbo. Logan, the whole idea is to not spend money for this blown up. Wait, when did Max Speeding Rods start sponsoring you guys? You said now. Is that recent? But Brandon, also, how would we even get the truck to survive long enough for it to? The idea we would need to hear it spool once. I think that would
Yes.
be the goal.
I think it would have to be spool once and literally just spit the guts out of the engine.
Oh, this Plan B guy, he's got a Mark V that he tracks. I mean, which is cool. It's a car. But I think he missed the entire conversation of us joking about boosting a blown up motor Iron Duke.
You got a Mark V?
Yeah, he's got a Mark V. I assume GTI. Y'all trust the same class. Y'all trust the same company that makes suspension that brakes when you hit the speed bump. Yeah, that's kind of the joke. That's kind of why we're talking about it.
We're talking about buying a turbo for a blown up piece of shit.
It's a blown up Iron Duke. Yeah, it's a motor sitting in a shop for a truck that.
I'd say save your money, but.
Well, no, we wouldn't buy it, Ryan. The idea, we would only do this if they would send us the turbo. Although we would have to spend money on
content.
Oh, it's when they sent me out the radio. That's what I said in my review. I said, "Don't buy this." I literally put up their competitor, the Vanco radio. I said, "Here you go, just buy this, guys." So I don't think they're gonna. Yeah, he said he didn't hear the joke, but yeah. Logan said I'd jump off a cliff before I miss this Max speeding rods. I was so curious on the radio because I was like, I've had a 2 GB RAM Android radio before, and I was like, for $199 if it's got wireless Android Auto, I was like, it'd be kind of hard to fuck it up. And I think they kind of fucked it up. It's not good. Especially when for $300 you get a good radio. I still have it in the Xterra, actually, Logan. So if we ever meet up again, I'll have to drive the Xterra. It's not crazy responsive. And the idea is to replace it here soon. But now I'm like, well...
A cheap radio, I mean.
Yeah, now the truck has wireless Android Auto, so I'm not exactly running to spend $300 on a replacement. Because I'm like, well... I mean, they definitely have made bank off people, which, like, good for them. Yeah, I think their whole plan is to... And I kind of played into this when I did the radio. I think their whole plan is to just flood the market with reviews of their products so that people that don't know go, well, this is what everybody else has, so this must be okay, right? I think that's what they're trying to do.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Have you messed with the Temu app yet? I bought a battery crimper there for $2. Has it shown up? Is Temu the, what's that?
Yeah.
It's not eBay. It's not, what's the Chinese eBay? I say that like it's
Alibaba.
Not Alibaba, but that's Alibaba.
That's not Chinese, but
you get what I'm saying. There's a third party like Asian mass.
Wish.com.
It's not Wish either, but Wish I think Wish is a better example than what I was going for. Same shit Low Glow does? What's Low Glow? Just rebrand Chinese shit. Yeah. I mean, it's
Low
fair.
Glow?
Yeah. Well, see, that's
It's
the weird.
the new Alibaba. There we go.
Oh, okay. Oh shit! He said it's sitting right in front of him right now. Okay, you got to do a video on this cable crimper and send it to me, and tag me in it because now I'm curious. For $2, if it completes one single job, like if you just got to crimp a handful of cables and it does it, I mean, didn't that do its job for $2? I don't think you're expecting a tool that you keep for 10 years. That's shocking, actually.
Wow.
But to be fair, I feel like Harbor Freight's not a whole lot more money, and it is a tool that you can throw in your toolbox if you don't use often for a year, 2 years, 3
But
years.
it's still made in China. So
It is,
But-
yeah. But
Lifetime warranty.
dude, I still have my $10 heat gun. It was the first tool that I ever bought that
of course, Brandon
on my
comes
own.
in with a lifetime warranty, bro.
Yeah. Ryan, I bought that heat gun back when I had my Jetta. This was back before I met you guys. This is when I was just meeting you guys for the first time, and I still got it. $10. I'm not saying everything from
I mean, Harbor Freight's been decent. It's,
and it came with
I think
60
Harbor
ring
Freight,
terminals.
especially with,
I don't know
with
if I put
electric
those ring terminals
tools,
on. Yeah.
especially with electric tools, Harbor Freight's pretty hit or miss.
Oh, I don't have any Harbor Freight tools. Yeah. I recently decided I wanted to try.
Red.
No, I'm trying out Ryobi. I didn't tell you about that?
Oh, so you came to your senses and didn't want to spend that money.
So my Amazon, my Milwaukee 12 volt power tire inflator went to shit, and I didn't realize they had a 5-year warranty, so I threw it away. I know it was dumb. I had it for over a year, and I couldn't get it to work properly, so I gave up on it. And it came time that I needed a bigger tire inflator anyway, because now I got the Xterra, which is on 33s, and we're airing down to like 20 psi when we're going off road. So I was like, I need to get like the full 18. Oh, see a moist crevice. Anyway, so I wanted a bigger inflator, and I was like, I don't really know if I want to spend $150 on another Milwaukee at this point. I've already got the batteries. I've got Milwaukee stuff. I was like, I kind of just want to try a cheaper brand for anything that's not time sensitive, power sensitive, like a tire inflator. So I bought a Ryobi for $60 used. It's an inflator with a battery. Yeah, they do. They really exchange it with no questions asked. Harbor Freight does. It's amazing. Hey, Green GT, I really appreciate
Later,
you coming
Green
out.
GT.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out.
Oh, Logan's leaving. I missed that. Oh, I gotta go. Thanks, guys. Hey, appreciate you stopping by, Logan. And to be honest, I'm also realizing it's 11 o'clock and your boy's got to work in the office tomorrow. So,
Same.
yeah.
Yep.
At least you're making all that engineer money. It's all worth it, right?
Yeah, I don't actually have to go into the office to get paid. I just pretend. So, I'm just... Somebody's going to clip this and be like, look at this asshole. Look what he said.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely.
Like, oh, Brandon.
It's true, bro. They
Brandon.
do make so much money.
Toby L. Vega, the guy with that Mustang and the Camaro, the guy that fucking rear-ended some dude in his Camaro, being an absolute idiot. It got me pretty good. It didn't get me specifically. It got a lot of people. He posted a video of his Camaro on the side of the highway, and he's like, I was driving it, and it died. I'm pretty sure it's the battery. And I was sitting there thinking, I was like, what a fucking idiot. I was like, he's got all these dudes that do all this work, and nobody told him how a fucking battery works or like an alternator, none of this. And then he proceeds to try to crank the engine. You hear it crank, and the lights turn on. Everything is like, bro, it's not a fucking battery. I was like, what is this guy doing? And I was like, what an idiot. Anyway, I scrolled on, and then a little while later, I see him on my For You page, and he's like, so everybody thought I was serious about the battery. Here's a text message. And he has this really weird accent. And I was like, okay, well, you got one thing right, but you still rear-ended a fucking old man because you couldn't use your fucking mirrors in your Camaro. That, and he spun his Mustang around because he didn't think, oh, I probably shouldn't drive bald tires in the fucking rain. But
What an idiot, bro. My Miata has full tread. I would never take.
Well,
Anyway,
all right. I think we're gonna shut this down, but this was a lot of
Yep.
fun.
yeah, this was good.
All right. Thanks, guys, for hopping in.
All right.
I'll see you guys later.
See ya.